It's Major League Baseball tonight, live out of Oriole Park at Camden Yards. The finale of the three-game weekend series, the finale of the home portion of 1998, as the O's welcome in the New York Yankees. So very good to see everybody. Pleased you're with us. I'm Michael Regai, joined by Jim Palmer. We have been this week getting a little bit of a glimpse into the future of Orioles baseball. Jim, yesterday, Sidney Ponzone pitched brilliantly, and Ray Miller gave Calvin Pickering a start. We've noticed his power in the Eastern League this year, and he showed it yesterday here at the Yard.
He certainly did. I mean, this is a very hitter-friendly ballpark. He hit 31 home runs down at Double-A Bowie, and after last weekend, his first Major League start against a knuckleballer, he said David Cone, even though he was going for his 20th win, I like this a little bit better. Cone weakened by the flu, but evaluating up and try to win number 20. The fourth time up, Calvin gets a low fastball, and we see what everybody's been talking about, the strength to hit it out not only in right center, but also take the ball the other way, and that's going to translate when he gets up here to a lot of home runs.
Back in May, the first go-round, Orioles-Yankees in Yankee Stadium, the O's lost 3 straight. However, Doug Johns took the baseball with the Oriole pitching staff battered and threw pretty well. Jimmy lasted 5 innings, got some outstanding defensive support that night.
Well, Doug Johns is not going to strike you out. He's a sinker ball pitcher, more effective this year against left-handers, and the Yankees have a lot of those. But the Orioles have the best defensive club in baseball. We're going to see it right here. Brady charges the ball, doing what outfitters should do. Great tag by Chris Hoyle to get the out at the plate. And once again, when you play behind somebody like Doug Johns, who throws a lot of pitches and works fast, you're ready to field. And once again, the Orioles leading all of Major League in least amount of errors.
We've talked this weekend about the Yankee pitching. They've been ultra successful. We know that. Now, how tough can it be when you go through shark-infested waters like Orlando Hernandez did to get to this country? Jim, to go out and win 10 games, that's been the easy part for El Duque.
Are you talking about the American League East? No, actually, he's had a great year. He's 7-1 on the road with an ERA of under 2 runs a game. Now, at home and on the road, the Orioles have a chance because he's 3-3. He's almost given up 4.5 runs a game. So I tell you what, you're really going to enjoy watching him because he throws it from all different kinds of arm angles. And David Cone, who's been around for 13 years, said, I learned something from El Duque because he's always going to give you another different look.
The O's are going to see if they can win the second of 3 this weekend and make it 2 times. They've done that over the New York Yankees in the home series with the Bronx Bombers here in 1998. HCS coverage of Orioles baseball is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. With fares so low, you have the freedom to do things you never thought possible. By Bell Atlantic Mobile, cell phone is only as good as the network it's on. By Giant Food, quality, value, and service, that's Giant, your place to save. Also by your friends at Toyota and the all-new 1998 Toyotas. They're as good as it gets. By Bell Atlantic Corporate, wild things are happening. Bell Atlantic, well, we'll see you there. Also by the Discover card. It pays to discover, and a cashback bonus award with every single thing you buy. Discover the feeling. It pays. Also by your local Jeep and Eagle dealers, and by Geico Direct, the sensible alternative. That pitching matchup once again features for the Orioles, Doug Johns, a left-hander looking for win number 4, and El Duque, Orlando Hernandez, seeking his 11th win of the year. Doug away will get to starting lineup, so it's time to play baseball for the last time here at the Yard in 1998. It's coming at you next on HTS.
Flying to the New England area for business? If these 17 reasons don't convince you to fly Southwest Airlines nonstop to Providence or Manchester, maybe this will. Call 1-800-I-FLY-SWA.
You are now free to move about the country.
Hey everybody, time for a Chi-Chi's workout. But today, we're not using Chi-Chi's salsa. We're using new Chi-Chi's salsa. It's a more thick, more zesty, fresh-tasting Chi-Chi's. Ready? And pull up and down. Pull up and down. Don't forget to breathe. See how it sticks to the chip? Now add the drink. So don't just sit there. Eat something. New Chi-Chi's. The new taste really works those abs.
Get ready for something that will change the way you use your wireless phone into the next millennium. Digital Choice Single Rate from Bell Atlantic Mobile. It's revolutionary. It's here. A wireless plan with no roaming or long-distance charges. Digital Choice Single Rate from Bell Atlantic Mobile. There's nothing better in the world.
best road record in all of Major League Baseball. Joe Torre lines up his Safeway starting lineup as follows. Chuck Knobloch will lead off to play second base. Derek Jeter gets a call at shortstop, hitting second. Bernie Williams will play center field and hit third. Chili Davis will do the DHing tonight. Jorge Posada will hit fifth and do the catching. Tim Raines will play left field. Chad Curtis gets the call in right field tonight. Mike Lowell, the outstanding young prospect, will hit eighth and play third base. And Luis Sojo will hit ninth and play first base. And Jim, they'll face the Oriole lefty, Doug Johns.
Yeah, Doug John, you can see right there, his 10th start. He's pitched actually better out of the bullpen. At least the batting average against is much lower. And Joe Torre, he is loading the lineup with right-handed batters because they are hitting .336 off Doug Johns tonight. So talked to Rafi Carpenter. He said he's rested, and if he's needed, he might have to come out of the bullpen against this heavily laden right-handed hitting lineup for the Yanks.
Don't move. We'll check out how the Orioles line it up. That's next. We get you back to the yard.
It's hot out there. It's cold out there. It's rough. It's hard on cars out there. So you'll find Merchants. Merchants everywhere. Merchants Tire and Auto Centers. Tires, maintenance, auto repairs. The top tire brands, over 50 years experience, guaranteed to meet all competition's out-the-door bottom line prices. Plus, 29-minute Tire Express. Now that's service. It's wear, it's tear, it's hot, it's cold. Don't go jumping here and there. Come to Merchants. All your car needs, all in one place.
Computers are really smart.
10 years ago, Giant talked to these kids about computers.
You save giant receipts and you get computers.
Now they're talking about the future.
The whole world's like digitized now.
Their future.
When I grow up, I'm definitely looking for a medical career.
My big dream, scientist.
I see myself as a lawyer.
Apples for the Students Plus. Our reward is their success.
The Orioles a couple of games over the 500 mark as we take a look at Ray Miller's Safeway starting lineup. Robbie Alomar leading off, played second base. Brady Anderson will hit second in center field. Willie Green gets a start tonight. He'll hit third and play right field. Rafael Palmeiro is at first base. Calvin Pickering will do the DHing this evening. Cal Ripken will hit sixth and play third base. PJ Surhoff is in left field. Lenny Webster will hit eighth, do the catching. And Mike Vornick will hit ninth and play shortstop. And they will face the Cuban refugee, El Duque, Orlando Hernandez.
Yeah, he's had an outstanding year. I mean, one moment he's in Cuba, probably 4 or 5 months later, he has a chance to play in the Fall Classic. That's the way the Yankees are going. And Ray Miller doing a little bit what Joe Torre did, trying to get the good matchup. So there's left-handers having a lot more success against El Duque at 279. The righties only 153. 6 of the Oriole hitters tonight will be left-handed. And if the right-handers get on, it's a bonus as good as he's been.
We're set to go. It's baseball time, so don't move. We'll throw the first pitch at the yard. It's next on HTS.
Baltimore, your blast is back. Baltimore, your blast is back, and they're better than ever. They're back. Season tickets now available. Call 410-73-BLAST. The blast is back. The Blast kick off their new home season Saturday, October 24th. For tickets to the home opener, call 410-73-BLAST. Baltimore, we're bringing home a winner. Baltimore, we're bringing it back. Baltimore, we're bringing home a winner. Baltimore, your blast is back.
Break through to the new world of Mach 3 from Gillette. The first triple blade shaving system. 3 blades specially positioned to shave progressively closer. You take 1 stroke, it takes 3. So you don't have to shave the same area over and over, which means less irritation. 3 blades, fewer strokes, less irritation. Mach 3 from Gillette.
Get ready for something that will change the way you use your wireless phone into the next millennium. Digital Choice Single Rate from Bell Atlantic Mobile. It's revolutionary. It's here. A wireless plan with no roaming or long-distance charges. Digital Choice Single Rate from Bell Atlantic Mobile. There's nothing better in the world.
Cash in Hand is now paying out $1 million. So instead of $500,000 all at once, you can now win $1 million all at once. Twice as much. when you play cash in hand from the Maryland Lottery. Not $500,000 all at once, but $1 million all at once. It's the easiest way ever to win $1 million, but only through September 28th. So play now.
The tallest mountain in North America is 20,320 feet. Cool.
As you look at Cal Ripken, baseball's reigning Iron Man, an amazing story has just unfolded here at the yard that we will let you know about. Cal Ripken, non-injured, has decided tonight is the night, as just seconds ago, literally seconds ago, we were informed that Cal Ripken, whose name was in the original lineup that Ray Miller had posted before the game tonight, has pulled himself out of the lineup. He will not start the game tonight. It'll be Ryan Miner starting at third base. So Cal Ripken's consecutive game streak not appearing. If he does it tonight, Jim, will be coming to an end, as certainly I'm sure a ramification is going to be heard all over baseball, but we won't know more until we talk to Cal after the game. But right now he has pulled himself out of the lineup and will not start at third base tonight.
After 2,632 consecutive, I would assume consecutive starts. He started all those games, hasn't he, Mike?
Yes. Yes.
So you're right. It doesn't mean he may not play in this ball game, but you know, there's a paper in the article in the Baltimore Sun today talking about the fact that the Orioles would talk about whether he would continue this consecutive streak next year. And if you know he's not hurt, at least that's what we understand. And if he's doing this, I think it's to me it shows you what kind of class guy he is, because what he's doing is diffusing all the comments that, listen, this is about personal, I guess, personal goals and so forth and whatever, and not that he is not the best guy to play tonight, but I'll tell you what, it takes a lot of pressure off management, off Ray Miller when he comes back to manage last year. You know, ultimately he may continue the streak tonight, but I think what he's saying is, listen, maybe this is the best time to do it. It's best for the ball club. I'm going to take my personal goals, move them into second place, and I think it makes quite a statement.
Quite a statement indeed. Certainly an unfamiliar sight to see the Orioles on the field and Cal Ripken sitting in the Oriole dugout not to start a baseball game. Jim, what about our Russell Automotive keys to the game?
Well, for the Yankees, they just want El Duque to pitch better on the road. He's 3-3, 7-1 at home. You can see why with that ERA. And the right-handed hitters, the right-hander hitters are hitting .336 off of John. So the Yankees have 9 of them in the lineup. For Doug Johns, use that changeup, hope the sinker's working, and you're going to have to get those righties out. And they got Sidney Ponson a 5-0 lead yesterday, 2 runs early on, and make it more comfortable for Doug Johns by having some early offense.
Now Cal Ripken on the telephone. Now we can only imagine or speculate whom he might be talking to, but
you know, it's interesting. One of the writers came up to me the other day and said, well, when Cal ends the streak, what will be the significance? Well, I think what I just talked about is that he's doing this for the team, certainly not hurt. But I don't think Cal, when you talk about Hall of Fame credentials, it's ever been about the streak. He was going to the Hall of Fame. You look at Derek Jeter, you look at Alex Rodriguez, you look at Nomar Garcia-Pera. He was the prototype for the shortstop of the 90s. He made it all right for a bigger man who's going to hit home runs to be able to play shortstop. And we forget that he went a whole season only making 3 errors, 95 consecutive games without an error at shortstop. He does look more relaxed than when he's starting, but once again, he may end up playing sometime in this ball game.
Well, Cal Ripken not starting at third base tonight.
What's he going to do?
Yeah, I think he looks a little surprised. Like, what is this?
What do you do on the bench?
Now down to the task of playing baseball. Magnificent night to do it, so settle back and enjoy as Chuck now blocked. It's ready for Doug Johns. First pitch, a fastball to get us underway here at the yard. The Yankees have won 8 of the 11 that The two clubs have played this year, trying to even it up here at Camden Yards. Won 2 of the 5 that the two clubs have played here.
And for them, they'd like to win 111 games, which would be more than any Yankee team. That's what Joe Torre was talking about on Friday. But I think even paramount to that, what they'd like to do is get ready for the playoffs. That's where their focus is. Get your pitching set up, make sure nobody gets hurt, but tune up, because they all understand, from the manager to all the players, that the toughest work is yet ahead of them.
Chuck Knobloch 4 for 10 here in this series with the O's as he fouls it right side and out of play. Knobloch went 4 for 5 the other night. Moved that average up close to 270, but then took an 0 for 5 yesterday. We alluded to Doug John's performance in Yankee Stadium in May. Johns got through 5 innings. The Orioles were ahead when he left. Wound up not getting the decision in the O's 9-5 loss.
Well, Doug was on the disabled list back in May for insomnia, and since then, 23 games, he's actually pitched extremely well. 3-1 with an ERA of a little bit under 4 runs a game. His numbers are inflated when he starts.
2-2 to Knobloch, again fouled right side, out of play.
Because in 45 2/3 innings, he's given up 63 hits. But when you put him as a reliever, I think what he does is he gets better matchups. He has really been effective against left-handers. He worked with Mike Flanagan this spring, dropping down to get the breaking ball over, also throwing a lot of two-seam fastballs. Good left-handers like to cover that outside corner, so he's been very effective against them. But the changeup will allow him to get these right-handers out if he has that tonight.
Still 2-2 as Knobloch checked the swing.
So he'll throw that little cut fastball off the inside corner, and then if he can get the changeup down and away, that's where he's going to get a lot of outs.
Doug John's facing this Yankee ball club, one of the top hitting squads in all of Major League Baseball. 287 as a team. Breaking ball, bounce to the hole. Bordick will backhand and throw out Knobloch. Tonight's Giant HTS Orioles Meet the other Magic contestant is Charles Banks of Randallstown, Maryland. Charles automatically has won a Panasonic A110 DVD DVD. Let me try that again. Video CD and a CD player. And a DVD movie video disc. And if an Orioles player hits for the cycle, Charles, you're going to win $1 million. Turn your field of greens into a field of green by playing Giant HTS Orioles $1 Million Magic. See your local Giant for details. Nice touch from the New York Yankees. David Cone, Darryl Strawberry, Chili Davis, his veteran ball club on their feet. Cal Ripken coming out of the Orioles dugout, waving, but pretty much saying, okay, let's play baseball. Cal's wife Kelly, as you saw Cal Ripken, Jim, say, Doug Johns, throw the pitch.
That's right.
Let's go.
And who's he going to throw it to? Derek Jeter, one of the best young shortstops. I talked to it, and I guess it's interesting. It's so ironic. You're talking to Joe Torre, manager of the Yankees, before the game. And I was saying, you know, how are you going to handle Jeter? Are you going to rest him and all that? He said, well, first of all, he's been swinging real hard. He wants to get 20 home runs, so he's a little bit out of his stroke. He said, but when I sit him down, he came in the other day and he said, listen, I don't want to miss any games. And he said, when he doesn't rest.
Hard ground ball, big hit right field. Derek Jeter aboard with a one-out single. Derek Jeter, second in the American League, and hits to his good pal Alex Rodriguez, leads the league in runs scored. He's on here for the Yanks with a one-out base hit.
So Joe says when I rest him, he sits right next to me and bugs me for 9 innings. And he told me, he said, I don't want to take any days off. So the next day he sent Don Zimmer, the bench coach, to tell Derek, he said, you know, you're going to have Sunday off. And he said, no, I'm not. I'm going right in there to straighten this out right now. So Ripken takes the day off, but Jeter, and maybe Cal will do that to Ray Miller. He'll annoy him so much, he'll be in there after an inning or two.
Hey, Jeter only been thrown out 6 times this year. This Yankee ball club. If you were with us Friday night during the Yankee 15-5 win, we talked about how the running game has certainly come full cycle for the New York Yankees in this big run to the American League East division crown.
I asked Don Zimmer, I said, how does Joe Torre handle it when the guy doesn't bust his tail? And he said, he doesn't yell or scream. There's Don Zimmer. Been around this game over 50 years, and he said he just calmly tells him that's not the way we do things here. Started in spring training where everybody could run on their own. He could see who could run and who couldn't. Now, you know Jeter can steal bases because he's done it in the past, but they found out. I mean, Paul O'Neill, 15 out of 16, 15-1, only been caught 1 time. You know, we think of him as just one of the better left-handed hitters, former batting title, but Joe Torre, I mean, it was a stroke of genius to allow this ball club to really identify who could run and who couldn't, who had good judgment, who didn't.
Fastball on the outside corner from Doug Johns, so he's ahead of Bernie Williams 0-2. Just getting going here at the yard on what has turned into, by big surprise, what a monumental beginning as Williams fouls it off without Cal Ripken stationed on the diamond to begin a game for the Orioles for the first time in the last 2,600 plus. Ryan Minor.
You got to go back to what, May 16th, 1982, or May 30th on 1982.
Changeup misses away. 1-2 now on Bernie Williams. Bernie Williams leads the American League in hitting. He's 336. Missed 3 weeks of baseball. So better than 20 games. Still has driven in 94 runs and hit 26 home runs. The 1-2 to Williams. Changeup driven to the gap in right center field. Willie Green to make the grab. Doug Johns came right back to that changeup, up and away. Williams flying out to Willie Green.
Well, Bernie swinging the bat very well from both sides. If you look at Willie Green, he's been favoring that groin pull. Well, yesterday off Ponzone from the other side of the plate, he hit a line drive over the shortstop's head. But I mean, he just has that easy stroke. Doesn't seem like he overswings, and he tries to shoot one up the gap, but Willie's there to run it down.
Here's Chili Davis. Chili, the switch hitting veteran, DH. Unloaded a home run off Arthur Rhodes yesterday in the 9th inning. Chili Davis just trying to get himself back in the flow with enough repetition swinging the bed, Jim. He's going to be able to help Joe Torre and the Yankees come early October.
Well, I certainly think he will, because I mean, you look at this lineup. He's got 4 switch hitters in the lineup. It means that in the middle of the game you don't have to make changes unless you want to, in case you knock out the other pitcher. Allows you to go deeper in the game using a less amount of players. But Chili Davis, I mean, just think about it, and I guess this is the difference between large market teams and some of the smaller market teams. You have a guy that's had postseason experience. Last year hit 30 home runs, drove in 90 runs, and missed 118 games with the ankle problems. But boy, it gives you experience. He gives you somebody that's done it. And this guy can hit. I'll tell you, about 5-6 years ago, Mike, it looked like his bat was slowing down, but you know, he's been able to shorten his stroke, and he gets it done.
Doug Johns has blew a fastball by him upstairs, so he's ahead of Chili Davis. 1-2 here. Jeter aboard with 2 out in the opening inning.
I look at Chili Davis and I say, here's a man that doesn't want to swing at that pitch. That fastball only 85, but it looked like 95 because he expanded the strike zone. Very much from both sides. He's going to get into that stance, hands a little bit higher from this side. He wants the ball down.
This is driven to deep right center. Long run, Brady Anderson not going to get there. That'll take one hop and get into the seats. It helps the Orioles because Derek Jeter was going to score easily, and he'll get sent back to third base on the long ground rule double off the bat of Chili Davis deep to the gap in right center.
And whether you're Chris Chambliss, the hitting instructor with the Yankees, or Rick Down of the Orioles, you want the bat coming in at either a level or above the ball. So he holds his hands high. He gets a ball. I talked about getting something down. That's a changeup. And I'll take good approach outside third of the plate. And Brady is going to actually wave it over the fence. Yeah, right there. Go it over. Because if it gets over, Jeter's going to have to go back to third.
Doug Johns now has to look at a couple in scoring position as he faces Jorge Posada. Posada, outstanding young switch hitting catcher. Look at the Posada numbers, and that's in 105 games is all, as he splits time with Joe Girardi. Johns coming under his hands with a breaking ball.
Well, how about his numbers from this side of the plate? We mentioned one of the 4 switch hitters hitting .371 from the right side. And not only done, he did a wonderful job on Friday night, just smothering every breaking ball in the dirt. Hitting .315, runners in scoring position.
Posada pretty much catches everybody with the exception of David Cone. Girardi works with Cone. So Posada, as we said, now this is his 106th game. Girardi has played in 75, so you see the disparity in some 31 games.
And well, you can see why he'll be catching El Duque because of the communication problem. But both of them speak Spanish. Jorge from Puerto Rico. And went to college in Alabama.
Kind of a odd journey. Well, Jim said a moment ago, though, the Yankees, they need 5 more wins to tie the best ever in the American League. 1954 Cleveland Indians, who won 111 games in the 154 game schedule at that time. Hardy on the fastball. Doug Johns blows away Jorge Posada. Yankees strand a couple. We're scoreless as Cal Ripken getting the glad hands, but sitting it out and acknowledging the New York Yankees.
Connecting with the wrong internet provider can leave even the most experienced net user frustrated and abandoned. Now there's a better way. BellAtlantic.net, with access to Big Yellow, Your Yellow pages on the web, and a helpful staff to guide you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Bell Atlantic can open doors to the internet you never knew existed. Wild things are happening. Bell Atlantic. We'll see you there.
I'm never eating anything but peanut butter and jelly again.
Sure, Matthew.
PBJ, 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 peanut butter jelly, peanut butter jelly. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. PBJ, PBJ.
Tonight we're having meatloaf with all the trimmings.
Introducing Safeway Great Meal Combos. Just heat and serve. So good, you won't believe it.
I'm never eating anything but meatloaf again. Meatloaf, meatloaf.
How you doing, Sarge? Okay, folks, what'll it be? What would you like, sweetheart?
A Pepsi, please.
Sorry, we only have Coke. Now you've done it.
You're sorry? Not half as sorry as you're gonna be. I ordered a Pepsi, pal.
She's got a mind of her own.
What's with this guy?
Look, I just thought...
You thought? What you really thought was that I don't know the difference between Pepsi and a Coke, right?
Here's your Pepsi.
Thank you.
Kids say the darndest things.
What are you looking at?
I like this place.
Back at the yard here as we go to the bottom of the first. New York Yankees weren't able to get on the board against Doug Johns. Yet the big story tonight is that at least 4 consecutive starts, the streak, Cal Ripken decided that tonight would be the night that he wanted to sit down. Jim, here we see some of the facts. It began, as you alluded to, back on May 30th, 1982. And Cal had played in 501 in a row since breaking Lou Gehrig's record back on that September evening here in 1995. Floyd Rayford, for all of you trivia aficionados, was the last Oriole to play in in place of Cal Ripken.
Leadoff hitter for the Orioles, second baseman, number 12, Roberto Alomar.
There's Roberto Alomar to lead it off against the young man known as El Duque, Orlando Hernandez. Hernandez has been simply phenomenal for the New York Yankees. We said since leaving his native Cuba, coming through shark-infested waters to get to the United States and become a New York Yankee. Numbers outstanding as he faces Robbie Alomar. Alomar, Brady Anderson, and Willie Green. The first three is Roberto Alomar looks at a called strike.
Yeah, he's coming off his best game of the year, which is a 3-hit shutout of the Boston Red Sox, his first shutout ever.
Well, Jim, you talked about the arm angles. He comes from everywhere. Command of 4 pitches.
And he's got good stuff. I mean, that's very important.
Hard ground ball, base hit right field. Roberto Alomar with a leadoff single. They get the O started here against Orlando Hernandez.
I told you the left-handers, they have to play a big part. Left-handers hitting 279. It's not that high, but it's a lot better than 153 for the right-handed batters. And he's no different than anybody else. If you throw a 92, 93, and you get in the middle of the plate, Orioles will hit that. You make good pitches, and you use those other 3 pitches you talked about, curveball, slider, and good changeup, then you can have some success.
Brady Anderson. Brady had a nice afternoon yesterday off David Cone. Scored a couple of times, single and a double. And Brady with that average at 241. But if you look back to just about the 1st of August, Brady has actually been above the 300 mark in the last 34 games he's played at 301. Has hit 7 home runs in that time. So Brady sits on 17 home run shots this year.
And a chance, really, I think, a realistic chance to hit 250. And that's a long way from where he started. What, 077?
I think it went down to 063 at one point. This is skied into short right. Chuck Knobloch will put it away. Anderson out, popping up to Knobloch at second.
Number 11, Willie Green.
We'll get Willie Green to the plate. Willie Green has been battling the groin problem. Hasn't had too many plate appearances of late. Getting the start tonight. And this is the 22nd game he's appeared in since coming over in the deal that sent Jeffrey Hammonds to the Cincinnati Reds.
It's very difficult. You come over, come to a new team, want to make an impression. Know you're not going to play every day. And then you get the injury. You got to learn the new league. Supposedly a very good fastball hitter.
Well, Jim, the 1 home run that Willie Green hit as an Oriole against a pretty fair fastball pitcher, Jared Wright of Cleveland, here at the Yard last month.
And that's a game that Wright pitched very well.
El Duque get up close and personal with Orlando Hernandez. 2-0 on Willie Green. Well, the name Hernandez, Jim, last year was prominent in postseason play. His half-brother Levon. Tremendous October roll for the Florida Marlins, and they're winning the World Championship last year.
Ended up being most valuable player in that World Series. And also 16 strikeouts against Atlanta. Championship Series.
Robbie Alomar picked an outstanding pitch to go on. That breaking ball, slow breaking ball. And Alomar with the easy stolen base. No throw at all from Jorge Posada. So Robbie Alomar with his 17th stolen base of the year.
Now Jorge Posada thrown out 37% of the runners to try to steal, but not on that slow curveball. But not only was it a curveball, he got the call, but that ball was definitely low. Willie Green looking back. And now an RBI chance.
Willie Green's driven in 5 runs for the O's. The Birds, this is pretty much in direct contrast in going wire to wire last year. how 97 unfolded against the New York Yankees. The Orioles won 8 of the 12 played between the two. As Hernandez missed Donovan in with a fastball. Count moves to 3-1. They've lost 8 of the 11 this year. Jim, the thing that I look at when you look at the numbers and play with the numbers a little bit, Orioles averaged some 2.5 runs per game more last year against Yankee pitching. 6 runs a game this year. Just a little bit over 3 runs per game, as we said, and losing 8 of the 11 against the New Yorkers.
Better team this year.
Bounce foul, so the count's full at 3-2.
Talking about the Yankees, much more depth. In fact, Ramiro Mendoza is going to be pitching in a doubleheader on Tuesday. If he wins, they'll have 6 pitchers that have won over 10 games. And Joe Torre, what a ride for them. They won 92 wins in his first year in 1966. World Championship. Last year they won more games. Didn't get to the World Series. And this year, who knows how many? At least 106.
3-2 pitch miss to Willie Green, so he's aboard with a 1-out walk. Birds have a couple on now here in the opening inning against Orlando Hernandez. Well, you mentioned the 106, Jim. And as we said, they're 6 away from setting the American League record. Pretty much lost hope to tie that all-time Major League record of 116 wins.
But I think Joe, in talking to Joe, he said 111 is the magic number because that's the Yankee record, at least 1927 Yankees. So he'd like to win at least that. And then, of course, he also knows, as a historian of baseball, having played and managed for all these years, that 111 by Cleveland was over 154 games, as you mentioned.
Here's Rafael Palmeiro. Orlando Hernandez without command of the strike zone here in the early inning.
Well, he's no different than anybody else. If you can't stay over the pitching rubber and you can't get your arm out in front, changeup's going to hang high. Breaking ball, you won't get on top. And maybe that's why he has trouble on the road. 3-3 with an ERA of almost 4.5 runs a game, but at Yankee Stadium, very comfortable at 7-1.
Pitching coach Mel Stottlemyre next to Joe Torre. Palmeiro waits an 0-1 from El Duque. On this with a fastball. Can't find the fastball yet. Also, the breaking pitches seem to be staying up in the strike zone.
Because he's not that overpowering. His fastball 90 to 92 miles per hour. So he has to rely on location, movement, different arm angles, the ability to get other pitches over other than that fastball. And this is a great hitting count. Rafi most likely will look fastball.
Just line to right. Chad Curtis. A couple of steps to his left to put it away. No advancement from either Alomar Green or Rafael Palmeiro on the 2-0 pitch out on the fly ball to Curtis and right.
Designated hitter number 6, Calvin Pickering.
Here's a power-laden, young, strong left-handed hitter, Calvin Pickering. He was here yesterday, Jim. Came over to the ballpark, and we showed it at the top of the show. He got a David Cone pitch, a fastball, maybe a split finger down in the strike zone, as we talk so much about left-handed hitters. He loved the ball low, and Calvin Pickering, who had 31 home runs at AA Bowie, launched a shot deep to the chairs in right center field. First big league hit. Touched all the bases in doing it. And as you see, Oriole scouting director Gary Nickel there in the gray jacket on the left of your screen with Sid Thrift. And the Orioles, Calvin Pickering, honored as one of minor league baseball's best this year in the Eastern League. For those 31 home runs that he hit, led the Eastern League in that category.
He looks like a lot of young hitters. He's a pretty good fastball hitter. Likes to get the arms extended. Wants the ball away from him. First 2 pitches from El Duque have been right in. Cutter in.
And misses with the breaking ball now. 1-2 on Calvin Pickering.
See how tight that breaking ball was? He was able to stay back and get the arm out in front. Boy, that ball went straight down. The 1-2.
fouled off. Another slider. Well, Jim, there's a lot of queries about the age of El Duque, Orlando Hernandez. Some say 28, some say 32. We saw Rolando Araujo in here with Tampa Bay earlier this year, of course, a couple of times. He pitched against the Birds, same story there. But we know he can throw, and he's made quite an impression here in Major League Baseball.
Well, I asked Mel Stottlemyre and Joe Torre, I said, did he need to make any major adjustment when he came over here? Because his half-brother, Levon, he didn't know how to hold runners. And he was totally inexperienced, but much younger. And Levon, what, I think about 21 when he got over here. So he had to go to the minors and do that, but El Duque did nothing.
The 2-2. Missed away. Over the changeup. And now the count runs full. There were 2 out in the opening innings, so Robbie Alomar and Willie Green are going to be on the move. And Calvin Pickering worked hard in the offseason. (3-2) with runners moving. Ground ball right back at Hernandez. It'll get him out of inning number 1. Orioles strand a couple. So both teams have left 2 aboard in the opening inning. We're scoreless when we get back to the yard on HTS.
Get one of the world's best quality automakers to refine and perfect a single automobile for 30 years, and this is the result. Toyota Corolla. It's everything you'd expect and more, because now Corolla's all new, bigger with more power and safety features like side impact airbags, yet priced $1,000 below last year with a special low payment lease available. No wonder Corolla is the best-selling car in the world.
Hey everybody, time for a Chi-Chi's workout. But today, we're not using Chi-Chi's salsa. We're using new Chi-Chi's salsa. It's a more thick, more zesty, fresh-tasting Chi-Chi's. Ready? And pull up and down. Pull up and down. Don't forget to breathe. See how it sticks to the chip? Now add the drink. Don't just sit there. Eat something. New Chi-Chi's. The new taste really works those abs.
Yeah, she's been checking me every day, hoping the medicines get here. She's about to run out. Unfortunately, her employer directs her to order her prescriptions by mail. Sure, they're finally here, but in what condition? The FDA found that the inside of a mailbox like me can hit 136 degrees. Freezing cold and moisture may be just as bad. And what about new prescriptions? Can she take them safely with her other ones? Don't ask me. I'm just a mailbox. Count on me for your mail. For your prescriptions, count on your neighborhood community pharmacist.
These are the only champions Major League Soccer has ever known. And this is the place for exclusive DC United coverage. HTS, ready to play.
Discover Card's going to donate $500 to the local chapter of the Make-A-Wish Foundation for every grand slam hit in tonight's game. It's brought to you by all the good folks at Discover Card. Let's go to inning number 2 here on just a spectacular Sunday night around Oriole Park. The finale. Jim, it doesn't seem like it can be so, but it is the final home game here of 98 season for the O's. As Tim Raines is set to lead it off here against Doug Johns. First pitch swinging, fly ball right field. Willie Green backing up, couple of strides. Raines out in the fly ball to Green in right. Well, now let's take a look at the lineup card here. As we told you, we came on the air tonight, and of course now this should maybe been speculated and been talked about a little bit, but Cal Ripken was in the original lineup. There you see the Oriole lineup, and hitting in the 6th spot and playing third base. Cal Ripken's name was written in. So the thing we'll have to find out after the game, Jim, is when did Cal Ripken decide that tonight was going to be the night? How much thought went into it? Who was spoken to in regard to discussing the issue and the situation? all of those answers will come out after the game tonight.
It just seems like it's the right thing to do because it does take a lot of pressure off him. It diffuses a lot of the questions you have to deal with. I mean, Ray Miller seemed not relieved, but he seemed very happy. I mean, he's not happy the way the club has played for most of the year, even though they played very well since the All-Star break. But I mean, he seemed more relaxed. It takes a lot of burden off his shoulder. And I tell you, it is a. I mean, to me, it's what Cal's all about. It's a sensible thing to do. I mean, Cal deals in the world of logic. And I think it'll make life easier for a lot of people, including himself. And whether he plays 155 games or 160, whatever, it's the right time.
On 5 pitches, Chad Curtis receives a 1-out walk from Doug Johns here in inning number 2. Curtis getting the call in right field tonight. As we talked about with all the right-handed hitters that are in the lineup against Doug Johns. I want to remind you that coming up the winter of 1999, you can live out your baseball dreams at the official Orioles Fantasy Camp. Join former Oriole greats in Sarasota, Florida, January 31st through February 7th. Space is limited, so call the number you see on your screen to reserve your spot on the roster. Here's Mike Lowell at the plate. Strong, right-handed hitting third baseman, and this young man is like Calvin Pickering and Ryan Miner. He is one of the shining stars of the Yankee organization. Now 24 years of age. The last couple of years he's just absolutely torn up AAA pitching at Columbus. And yet the way Scott Brocious came in and played third base this year, you wonder exactly what 1999 will bring. Jim, we talked about it. I don't think anybody thought Brocious would deliver the goods as he has this year. They were waiting for Lowell to get ready.
And they were. And in talking to a lot of the Yankees, and even Jim Cotton, Yankee broadcaster, he said Lowell was scheduled maybe to be the starting third baseman. But Brocious had a great spring training, great start, and great season.
Line foul. Mike Lowell, when we talk about the numbers at Columbus, in over 500 plate appearances, hit .304, unloaded 26 home runs, led the club with 99 runs driven in. And as we said, 30 home runs last year. So 2 years in a row at the highest level of minor league baseball, Mike Lowell has delivered. So
there's Scott Brocious, who happens to be a free agent. So Lowell may be in the picture for next year anyway.
Ground ball right field, base hit. Inside out goes Mike Lowell with a base hit to right. Coming over to third is Curtis. The throw cut off by Mike Bordick. Yankees with runners on the corners with 1 out. Oh, Mike Lowell. He may hit the long ball, but excellent piece of hitting there. Is pitch Jim looked like that jammed him. He just went inside out, collapsed the hands, and hit and run base hit.
Took advantage of that hole between first and second, with Palmeiro holding Curtis on. I mean, this is by design. You can see him delay the hands, stay behind the ball, and Curtis will go all the way from first to third. And Luis Sojo now gets the bat with runners at first and third and only 1 out.
Very valuable utility guy for Joe Torre. Luis Sojo looks at a called strike. Play anywhere on the infield. Even catch a little bit in a real pinch if the Yankees got in trouble that way.
And another important factor, I mean, you're right about all those things, is that he doesn't mind not playing every day. He's at the point of his career where he's accepted it. So he's content to be a utility guy.
Sojo slashes it. No, just foul outside that bag. Same approach that Lowell used.
Yeah. Except a little harder. Luis, not a lot of power. He saw the fact. I mean, of course, he hadn't been up that much, but doesn't hit a lot of home runs. He's a ripper and slasher. Doesn't like to walk a lot. Never saw a pitch that he wouldn't be willing to swing at.
Runners on the corners here for the New Yorkers in inning number 2 against Doug Johns. Sojo got jammed, popped it up. Palmeiro gives it a look, landed in the Oriole dugout. Best road record in all of Major League Baseball, 51-29. The Yankees, and this is their final road game of 1998. Well, Joe Torre, Jim, he started his Yankee part of his managerial career, some 135 games under 500. And he has made quite a bit of that up. Base hit left field. Soho rips the breaking ball. Curtis to the plate. 1-0 Yankees on the RBI base hit off the bat of Luis Soho. Well, it's been the bottom of the order here in inning number 2. And things happening against Doug Johns.
Yeah, Chad Curtis came into this game 12 for his last 61. Doug Johns walked him, and if you're willing to just try to make contact, you can stay back. You can see him get out on his front foot a little bit, but he kept the hands back, and he just serves that curveball between third and short for a 1-run lead.
13th RBI of the year for Luis Soho. He'll flip that lineup back over. It's Chuck Knobloch. Knobloch now 0 for his last 6 here against the O's since going 4 for 5 on Friday night. Every one of the Knobloch base hits on Friday night, Jim, up the middle.
Pulling the ball a lot more than he ever did in Minneapolis when he played for the Twins. And that's why the average is down. 306 lifetime batting until this year. You know, he's not having a bad year.
No,
but he more home runs than he's ever hit. But that's not Knobloch. I mean, they got him because he can steal a base. Stole 62 last year, 30 this year. Had a little throwing episode. As a matter of fact, he almost threw a ball away to end the game the other day. And Don Zimmer said it's the first bad throw since the All-Star break. But went through a period where he just had trouble throwing the ball at first base. Very much like Steve Sax of the Dodgers had back in the late 70s.
The Yankees gave up one of their outstanding young pitching prospects, Eric Milton, to get Chuck Knobloch. And Milton's pitched a couple of times this year against the Birds. We've seen him. And Knobloch, Jim talks about the power. 13 home runs since the All-Star break. As Johns works 1-2. Got him swinging. Got Knobloch to expand that strike zone. Chased up. And a strikeout victim of Doug Johns.
Once again, being able, by getting ahead, to pitch out of the strike zone. And that's what Doug has to do to be effective. His stuff is not that good to stay within the strike zone. So throw enough strikes to get him to swing at balls, and that's exactly what he does to Chuck Knobloch. And it doesn't get any easier with Jeter coming to the plate.
Derek Jeter last year, see where he sits in regard to 200. As I mentioned, his base hit to right in inning number 1. He sits second in the American League behind Alex Rodriguez in base hits. Last year it's 291. It's 10 home runs and drives in 70 runs. So he has doubled up on the home run side. His next home run, if he gets one this final week of the year, will have him at 20 for the first time in his big league career.
And that's what Joe Torre said. He's really got his sights on, and swing a little bit hard, but this kid can play shortstop. Zimmer said he's the best shortstop, and Don's been in baseball for 50 years, the best shortstop he's ever seen coming in on the ball. I said, how's he do it? He said, I don't even watch anymore. That's how sure he is. And I guess maybe even more important than that is what Joe Torre talked about, is he sets the tone for this entire ball club. Because I was talking to Joe, I said, I'll tell you what, it's amazing to watch how hard your team plays. He said, it's all about Jeter. He's got that twinkle in his eye because he loves to play the game.
He's ahead of Doug Johns now at 2-1. Jim, I don't know about you, but we somewhat touched on this the other night. Obviously, they, as you just talked about, highly regard his marvelous skills around New York. But because of Alex Rodriguez and Nomar Garciaparra, I think most baseball people put Jeter behind those two, and I don't buy it.
Well, he's a much better defensive shortstop than either one of them.
Exactly. And again, you may say that Rodriguez hits for more power. Garciaparra, obviously an outstanding player, but I'll take Jeter. And you can have the other two, and that's not to demean the other two.
Well, you also have to understand he plays half of his games at Yankee Stadium, which is a very difficult
a ballpark for right-handed hitters to hit home runs. But he can hit the ball to right field with the best of them. Oh, yeah. 3-1 from Doug Johns. Be fouled down the line and right. If you're with us on Friday, Joe Torre talking about maybe the ball is a little bit more lively because Jeter hit it in the upper deck in New York down the right field line. Now, I think that has a lot to do with his approach. Keeps his hands close to his body, keeps the front shoulder in. He actually dives in, and he has great coverage of the outside corner, which is one of the dynamics you need to be a good hitter. Can you cover the plate? And I tell you, he showed every inclination to be able to do that over the course of this now his third year. Payoff pitch to Derek Jeter. Fastball missed in. Oh, Doug Johns started that Oriole dugout. He said, "Where was that?" Well, where was it? I had Jeter struck out. Well, Greg Koss didn't think so. Look at the glove. Maybe, but the way Lenny caught it, he might try to pull it. Watch him try to pull it back a little bit. And see, you have to understand, Ray Miller makes a great point. He said when a catcher is sitting in the middle of the plate and the umpire is on his inside shoulder, that is the pitch he sees the best. So if it's a half an inch off, he can see it. But when he has to look across the plate, that's when the plate gets wider. And that appeared to be one of those cases. And the ball was right in front of the Greg Koss eyes. That's where he's sitting. One of those big situations, Ernie. Burley Williams with a drive to center, but there's going to be room for Brady Anderson back on the track to make the grab. First pitch swinging, Bernie Williams out on a drive to center. Doug Johns gets out of the bases loaded spot, surrenders one here in the second. Yanks with an early lead when we get back to the yard.
In today's sophisticated marketplace, the slightest glitch in the flow of information can cripple your business. Fortunately, one communications giant is fielding the solution. Whether your business is large or small, Bell Atlantic can help you expand your information pipeline, eliminating potential bottlenecks and ensuring a steady stream of success. Wild things are happening. Bell Atlantic. We'll see you there.
A remarkable thing happened after Toyota gave the best car built in America more room, more power, and with anti-lock brake standard, priced the bestseller lower than 4 years ago. Over 390,000 people showed up and drove one home, making Camry America's best-selling car, which encourages your Toyota dealer to make it easy for you to drive America's favorite with a low-payment lease. But better come in now. We're expecting another crowd.
Dr. Jekyll, stop this experiment. I will unlock the secret to the hidden potential within us all. No, Doctor, please. Huh? Oh.
Wow, got any more? Hey, you are what you drink.
O's fans, make sure you call the Sheraton Inner Harbor Hotel for information on the Orioles package. Package includes an overnight stay, terrific seats to an O's game, and complimentary drinks at the Orioles bar. The Sheraton Inner Harbor Hotel, the official hotel of the Orioles. Now here's Ryan Miner. Ryan Miner not in the original lineup, but if you're just joining us, a monumental evening here at the yard tonight in that Cal Ripken pulled himself out of the Orioles starting lineup, thereby ending his consecutive starts for the Birds at 2,632. Whether or not he plays tonight, that we are not aware of at the moment, as Ripken not in the starting lineup for the first time since 1982. So let's take a look at those that sit behind Cal Ripken. If you talk about a torch being passed, Bell Castilla, Nefi Perez, Griffey Jr., Palmeiro, Surhoff here with the O's, Damon and Rodriguez as Ryan Miner takes a call third strike from Orlando Hernandez. You add up those 8, and Cal Ripken's streak sits at 1,073 games more than the combined total of those 8 that you see listed on your screen.
Now, I go back to that comment that Luis Alicea of the Rangers said the other night when Cal was frolicking in batting practice and Just doing what he always does, which is comes out and animated and whatever. He goes, how does he do it? And how has he done it? Absolutely amazing. I mean, ask B.J. Surhoff. Here's a guy that's played every day. I don't think that's been the best thing, but because of the Orioles' injuries and
hard ground ball from Surhoff, picked off by Luis Sojo. A couple of quick runs for El Duque here in the second.
And et cetera, having to play probably more than Ray Miller would like to have. I mean, he's played 154 in a row.
Number 42,
tell you he's tired. I mean, not only physically, it's the mental part of the game.
Well, we talked about a lot last year. It almost happened out in Oakland in early August when Cal had so much pressure on the lower back and down in both of his legs from the disc problem that he had. The pain was very severe when he played through that. Jim, you've been around here a long time. There were a couple other moments. One all precipitated by a brawl with the Seattle Mariners where Cal injured himself. His son Ryan happened to be born on an off day where he was able to attend the birth of his son and not miss an Orioles game in that particular instance. There's Lenny Webster. As Hernandez missed the inside corner. Lenny Webster at 283. Just putting together some kind of marvelous year. 10 home runs. He's driven in 46. Both of those categories setting career highs. In his last 18 games, Lenny Webster above 400 and driven in some clutch runs. 2-2 pitch. Got him on the slider. That arm angle, the arm slide. El Duque fanning both Minor and Webster in the second. Yankees lead it 1-0 when we get back to the yard.
What's on HTS? What's up with the O? Wizards, DC United, ACC, Capital. And who's this sports mole stealing all the dirt? Get online.
Login confirmed.
HTS Online. www.htsonline.com.
The new Orioles official merchandise catalog is now available. Now you're going to want to take a look at this now. It's full of wonderful looking Orioles merchandise, jackets, caps, jerseys, golf accessories, everything Jim Palmer wears out on the links.
Golf accessories?
Yeah, team videos and authentic autographed baseballs. Get your catalog by calling the number you see on your screen. Or you can even shop online at www.theorioles.com. Doug Johns, he's flirted with disaster. He's given up 7 hits in 4 innings, but only finds himself trailing 1-0.
Yeah, the great escape, not starring Steve McQueen, but starring Doug Johns. I mean, he's really battled him. We have to understand. Last year pitched in Italy. Didn't really have a job this year. Really worked hard. They liked him as far as his aptitude for learning, picking off people. Just changing the way he went about pitching, and he made the ball club in spring training. And it's not about power. He's got to almost be perfect. Has to stay out of the middle of the plate. So he's going to have his base runners, but you're right. I mean, he made a great pitch to Jeter to get him out on his front foot. They turned 2. But it doesn't get any easier with Williams at the plate.
Yankees have already left 7 stranded. That'll give you an idea of all the traffic on the bases. And Doug Johns not only had the bases loaded in the 4th that he got Jeter to hit the double play ball down the inning. He had him loaded up in the 2nd. And Bernie Williams went after his first pitch, hit it well to deep center. Well, Brady Anderson ran it down, and Johns was out of that without damage. Well, Bernie Williams about a week away. If he can continue to stay where he's at or add to his pace as a .335 hitter, will win an American League batting crown, and that's going to help a little bit. Base hit left field.
Came in hitting .344 from this side. He's always been a better average hitter because he's a natural right-handed hitter. Went to arbitrations, making about $8.5 million. They asked for what, $11 million for 7 years. As he takes a fastball, doesn't quite get it in enough, and he's just quick enough. I mean, that's terrific bat speed from the right side of the plate. What you think is a good pitch just doesn't quite get it by him.
That's base hit number 8, the leadoff single from Bernie Williams. Williams a threat to go.
But I've talked to a lot of the Yankees broadcasters. you know, some of the coaches and whatever, and they think Bernie's a good player, but to think that he's going to go somewhere and carry a club, they think he's just like the perfect guy here in New York because he fits right in the middle of this lineup, switch hitter. But on the other hand, you know, when you look at Bernie Williams, he feels that he's had to go to the brink in contract negotiations over the last 4 or 5 years. They've never made it easy. Not that $8.5 million is not a lot of money, but he had to go to arbitration and all the travails that go through that, and I guess it will test the free agent market.
Chili Davis, towering fly ball to deep right. Willie Green back on the track. He's going to have room. He'll put it away. Chili Davis out on the fly ball to Willie Green in right. All right, let's have a go at our Time Bridge Technologies trivia for the final time here at home in 1998. Orlando Hernandez, the 9th Cuban to play for the Yankees. Name the last Cuban Yankee pitcher before El Duque, 1979, 1980. Would that have been a former Oriole by any chance? No. Okay.
I know Pedro Ramos played for him, but I think he played before 79 and 80.
Last Cuban pitcher for the Yankees.
Oh,
before El Duque. Hard ground ball, base hit, Jorge Posada. Bernie Williams will stop at second on the base hit up the middle by Posada. 9 base hits through the Yankees for the Yanks through 4 1/3 now. It's the first for Posada.
Number 31, Tim Raines.
I mean, how long can you keep a guy who came in hitting .371 from getting a base hit? Pete Smith, Chris Fussell, we saw him in his major league debut, a start against the Rangers. Had a real good start.
Yeah, he did.
He stood about in line for his first win.
Here's 38-year-old Tim Raines. Raines, one of those outstanding parts. Looks at a changeup for a called strike, and there may be another Raines. This one in an Orioles uniform sometime soon. Tim Raines Jr., who was an Oriole draft selection, played in the organization this year.
Well, this Tim Raines, this is his 18th year. A couple of batting titles when he first started with Montreal. Used to steal 60 to 70, 80 bases a year, high percentage, well over 80%.
We talk a lot about Rickey Henderson. We see Rickey as the best leadoff hitter ever. Maybe Raines didn't quite hit for that much power, but well, in his day with Montreal, a tremendous leadoff hitter.
He just turned 39, did Tim Raines.
The leads of Bernie Williams and Jorge Posada as Doug Johns going to work on Raines. Bounces it foul. So when Joe Torre comes to writing out his lineup card when they start divisional play, and then we'll see how far the Yankees go. But as we were talking about the other night, Jim, Joe saying it's going to be on feel. I have no set prescription. I don't know how it'll work between Davis, Strawberry, Raines, and Curtis.
Well, I talked to Darryl Strawberry.
Two of them aren't going to play.
You're right. Strawberry said his knee, his left knee, that he's had all kinds of problems, is feeling a lot better. So then he can play defense.
This is fouled back right below us.
They see Cerrone would have. Did he hit one of those nets, doesn't he?
Yeah. Wears his catching gear up here. Still puts a chest protector on, the shin guards, mask.
Why does he wear that mask? He's a nice looking guy. I don't understand that.
Trying to prevent any more battle scars. Right?
Yeah.
The 1-2 to Raines. Line drive, fair into the corner and left. That'll score Williams easily. Posada will head to third. Willie Randolph will stop him on the 2-base hit to the corner and left by Tim Raines. Got a breaking ball, an off-speed pitch, a changeup that, well, he waited on and lined it just fair into the corner and left. RBI double for Tim Raines. 2-0 Yankees.
And Doug Johns was able to get Jeter to reach for the changeup away. This time this is down and in. You can see Webster just about to catch it.
And it doesn't get in a very good location except for Raines as he hooks it down in the corner for a double. And Bernie Williams, former sprinter from Puerto Rico, easily scores all the way from second. Runners at second, third as Ray Miller will come out and make a pitching change. All right, we'll get our Bell Atlantic call to the bullpen, and we will tell you about Pete Smith after Doug Johns leaves. 2-0 Yanks.
Hey everybody, time for a Chi-Chi's workout. But today, we're not using Chi-Chi's salsa. We're using new Chi-Chi's salsa. It's a more thick, more zesty, fresh tasting Chi-Chi's. Ready? And pull up and down. Pull up and down. Don't forget to breathe. See how it sticks to the chip? Now add the drink. Don't just sit there. Eat something. New Chi-Chi's. The new taste really works those abs.
Big cities face many large challenges, but when cities and businesses pitch in, needs become goals, and goals become realities. That's the premise behind the Orioles Saturn Field of Dreams. This joint effort between your Baltimore area Saturn retailers and the Orioles has resulted in the completion of 3 pro-style Little League fields, 2 in Baltimore City and 1 in Anne Arundel County, with 3 more scheduled to be built next year. It's the Orioles and Saturn's way of saying thank you.
Yeah, she's been checking me every day, hoping the medicines get here. She's about to run out. Unfortunately, her employer directs her to order her prescriptions by mail. Sure, they're finally here, but in what condition? The FDA found that the inside of a mailbox like me can hit 136 degrees. Freezing cold and moisture may be just as bad. And what about new prescriptions? Can she take them safely with her other ones? Don't ask me. I'm just a mailbox. Count on me for your mail. For your prescriptions, count on your neighborhood community pharmacist.
Dr. Jekyll, stop this experiment. I will unlock the secret to the hidden potential within us all. No, Doctor, please. Huh? Oh.
Wow, got any more? Hey, you are what you drink.
The official Orioles MasterCard is one baseball card every O's fan should have. The no annual fee card's available right now by calling 1-888-3332-HIT. Get your Orioles MasterCard today. All right, Pete Smith coming on out of the O's bullpen for manager Ray Miller. Brady Anderson having a little look-see how the mound in the bullpen feels. He gets back to his station in center field. See the Easy Store bullpen numbers of Pete Smith. Started his Oriole tenor as a starter.
Yeah, that's where you get that elevated earned run average. He's pitched pretty well as a reliever. A little bit over 4 runs a game. Still trying to battle mechanical problems. Throws so much across his body. In other words, when his front leg will actually step more towards a Yankee dugout than towards home plate, allows him, or really doesn't allow him to get the ball the outside part of the plate. But Curtis, not having as good a year as he had last year. His average only at 244, but he's hitting right-handed pitching better. And the Oriole infield with the score 2-0 Yankees will come in, try to cut off the run.
Posada at third and Tim Raines at second. 1 out and 1 in to bump this lead to 2-0 as Pete Smith works with his breaking ball in for a called strike. Chad Curtis walked and scored a run and also bounced out. He's 0 for 1.
And Chad turning to Greg Koss said, are you going to call that curveball a couple inches off the outside corner? And then most likely thinking, well, this is going to make my job a little bit more difficult because Koss has established the strike zone.
Smith 0-1 to Curtis. Another breaking ball, same spot right there. Curtis in a hole at 0-2.
And when you see Pete Smith, he did it against Juan Gonzalez in the Texas game. He threw him about 3 straight curveballs. The last one was at the worst location. This is, of course, perfect.
That ball just grazing the outside corner as it careened across the far reaches of that strike zone.
Well, all right. Another breaking ball. This one in the dirt.
All right.
Jim, baseball so much statistic dominated these days. I guess this number 7 hole, the right one for Chad Curtis, happened to something today that he hits 305 from the 7th spot in the lineup, but under 200 in any other spot that Joe Torre places him in the lineup. So why would you write the name in the lineup card anywhere else? Now, what do you think when you started pitching and your major league career? All of the statistics that are kept today, weren't as prevalent and weren't as made noticeable to everybody. You think it's gone a little bit too far with all of the breakdowns of the game?
Yeah, I think so, very much so.
Oh, yes, side edge to ring him up looking with a fastball.
Out of nowhere. That has been one of the problems, Pete Smith locating the fastball away to a right-hander. But not tonight. You don't make a better pitch than this. And actually, his windup not that much across. See that left leg a little bit straighter to home plate. I mean, he locates, and Lenny Webster just brings the ball back over the corner. And Chad, you got to go sit down.
7th spot didn't work under for him there.
No, see, I think when I first came up, you knew a guy hit you or you didn't. He didn't hit you. You knew that left-handers got left-handers out. You just never really, the numbers were not that important. What I like now is that managers just think that they have to left and right sequence their way through the game, whether the guy's getting them out or not.
Yeah. Here's Mike Lowell as Smith has fallen behind 2-0. Lowell was a problem for Doug Johns. This young, hard-hitting prospect from AAA Columbus, 2 for 2 tonight. Went both ways. Very sweet piece of hitting with a base hit to right, hitting behind the runner. Chad Curtis in the second, then lined a single to left his last time.
Once again, I talked about a letter somebody sent me about from Minnesota. Now he lives out in the Wisconsin area, about how special it was for him as a fan of the Orioles to see the Baylors and the Riches come up and whatever. And think how exciting it is for Mike Lowell.
Ground ball to third. Ryan Miner to the backhand, and we'll throw out Lowell. Well, that'll do it. So we're halfway home. Yankees strand a couple of more, but get one on the base hit from Tim Raines. 2-0 New York.
Connecting with the wrong internet provider can leave even the most experienced net user frustrated and abandoned. Now there's a better way. BellAtlantic.net, with access to Big Yellow, your yellow pages on the web, and a helpful staff to guide you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Bell Atlantic can open doors to the internet you never knew existed. Wild things are happening. Bell Atlantic. We'll see you there.
Just exactly how worried are you about choosing the right PC for your company? HP PCs. They're right for your business.
All state and federal government computer buyers call AV Networks at 1-888-AV-Networks. Catch all the football action with Circuit City and DirecTV. When you buy a digital satellite system and subscribe to 98 NFL Sunday Ticket and DirecTV Total Choice Platinum programming, you'll get an exclusive Circuit City $100 mail-in rebate. You'll also score 4 free months of Total Choice Platinum and 3 free programming certificates, a $300 value. Only DirecTV delivers NFL Sunday Ticket, and for just $159, you'll enjoy up to 13 games every Sunday. Now at Circuit City.
And welcome back to Baltimore's Cat in the Yard. Tom Davis here with an SK scoreboard. SK tastes the difference quality makes. The Red Sox lost to the White Sox 6-4. Toronto down Tampa 7-5. Toronto 4 back in the wild card. Oakland 6, Texas 3. Now the Angels win. They'll tie for first in the West right now. They're leading Seattle 3-0 in the 6th. In the National League, Cardinals beat Milwaukee 11-6. Mark McGwire hit his 65th. He also looked like he hit his 66th, but the umpire ruled a ground rule double. The Cubs lost to the Reds 7-3. Sammy Sosa was homerless, still has 63. Mets shut out Florida 5-0. The Mets now have a one-game lead over the Cubs in the National League wild card, and the Dodgers won San Francisco nothing. Carlos Perez pitched a 4-hitter. That's the SK scoreboard. And Michael, I got a couple of things here I've been sort of jotting down in regards that if Cal does not play in this game, the 2,631 would be the end of the streak, not 2,632, which would mean exactly 500 games replacing Lou Gehrig if you added the numbers. And also, he'd be sitting down against the team that Gehrig played for.
Very much so, Tommy. We appreciate that. And there'll be more with Tom Davis coming up. And we want to remind you on the occasion of Cal Ripken taking himself out of the starting lineup, we are going to have a lot of coverage that comes your way immediately following the game here tonight on HCS. So don't go anywhere. We will get you live the Cal Ripken media conference. And you see just moments ago Cal shaking hands and taking pictures with so many Oriole fans that have appreciated his efforts for the last 16 years of playing every day in the starting lineup for the Birds. And again, after the game, we're going to have Cal Ripken live here on HTS with his press conference that discusses all the whys and wherefores that went into his selecting tonight as we come to the final week of this 98 season and choosing to sit down and remove himself from the lineup. That'll be immediately following the final game of the regular home season here tonight on HTS. Lenny Webster leading it off against El Duque, Orlando Hernandez. 3-1 pitch. This is driven to the gap in left center. That's going to get down for extra bases. Up off the wall and into the seats. Into the Orioles bullpen. Two-base hit. Lenny Webster leading off inning number 5 against Hernandez.
One of the few times he's become predictable. Gets behind 3 balls and 1 strike. Has to come in. 2-0 lead. Leadoff batter. You don't want to walk anybody. And he comes right down, pardon the expression, Broadway. And Lenny, he sees stars as he rips one. And up the gap for a double. Boy, has he been hot.
Over 400, John. Last 20 games.
Well, he's at that point where he gets his pitch, he doesn't miss it.
No. Here's Mike Bordick. O's down 2 here in the bottom of the 5th as that breaking ball from Hernandez is in the strike zone.
Another guy that's been putting up good numbers is Mike Bordick. Career high 13 home runs. You can see hitting 12 out of the 14 games, playing a superlative shortstop.
Hernandez checking Webster. 0-1 to Bordick. Make it 0-2. Fastball inner half.
Now, he gets away with that. I used to sidearm guys on occasion, even though I was an overhand pitcher, and invariably they would bail and I'd leave the ball on the inside half. And it's embarrassing when they almost homer. And hit those high fly balls. You know, you're trying to fool them, and he's just coming inside. If you give a little bit, that ball could be hittable. Now, hitting it fair is another problem.
Yeah. Lenny Webster, right-handed hitter who strikes a blow for the right-handers everywhere, doing something positive against El Duque. 2-2 on Mike Bordick. Pitch. Fooled him. Bordick tried to check it and went too far. And Bordick a strikeout victim here in the bottom of the 5th for Orlando Hernandez. That is strikeout number 4 on the night.
As they talk about, you need strikeouts, runner at third, less than 2 outs. But right here, doesn't want the runner to advance and just comes up in the strike zone. Slider to Mike the first time for the strikeout. This time just came out of the strike zone. Mike tries to hold up, can't do it.
Here's Robbie Alomar now taking a Hernandez fastball on the outside corner for a called strike. Roberto has had one of the 4 base hits. Led off the night for the O's with a base hit to right. Birds have been out hit 10-4 tonight by the Yankees and trail it 2-0. pitch, doubling up on the fastball. Roberto maybe sitting on something else from Hernandez.
And right on the far reaches of the strike zone. You start look where the glove is. Boom, right there. Robbie's base hit the first time, a fastball right down the middle. We've talked over the course of the year what hitters look for. You know, Rod Carew said he's trying to look for the way the hand angle is. Other hitters tell you they can pick up the spin like Wade Boggs. Other ones say we're looking for velocity. Is it a breaking ball or fastball? So when you change the arm angle, they can't pick it up as well. They're looking for an area to try to get that, to hone in on pitch recognition. And one time he's 3/4. It was a little bit sidearm, maybe even below that on other occasions.
A 1-2 pitch, missing down and away. 2-2 now on Robbie Alomar. And the O's trying to finish out strong here on the home side. It has not been the type of home record that the Orioles would have liked to put together here in 1998. Birds in this finale just 4 games over 500 here at the Yard.
You can't have unhealthy pitching and win here at Camden Yards, and that's been the case for most of this year.
The 2-2 fouled off. Tonight's contestant in our Pepsi Big Slam Home Run Derby inning is Carol Schumann of Baltimore. If an Orioles player hits a home run, Carol, during this Pepsi Big Slam inning, you're going to win a case of Pepsi and $100 to enter the Pepsi Big Slam Home Run Derby inning. Send a postcard to the address you see on your screen. Well, Lenny Webster led off this 5th inning with a 2-base hit for the O's. He's still perched right there after Hernandez fan Mike Bordick. Orioles trying to get on the board against this tough right-hander known as El Duque. It was all set to go with a 2-2 to Robbie Alomar. Oh, Greg Koss flinched, didn't he? He started to pump that right hand and then pulled it down. Alomar says, yeah, Greg, you got it right.
Well, I asked Robbie, I said, you know, you're hitting about almost 50 points lower from the left side. He said, I don't really know the outside corner because it's been expanded so much. But right there, he trusted the umpire and got the call.
Alomar awaits a 3-2 from Hernandez. Breaking ball, line to center field. Bernie Williams coming on. It got away from him. Base hit. Webster being waved in. Birds on the board. RBI single Roberto Alomar. 2-1 Yankees.
A lot of people say sometimes Bernie Williams doesn't get a good read on a ball, but I tell you what, he gets a good jump on this ball, but he can't quite get it. He keeps it in front of him. He'll catch it as Webster will make it 2-1, and Alomar will stay at first with a single, an RBI single.
55th run driven in this year for Robbie. Well, the Orioles have cut that Yankee lead in half here in the 5th. Here's Brady Anderson. Brady looking for his first base hit of the night against Orlando Hernandez. Brady last homered a week ago today when he took Jarrett Washburn deep here at the Yard against Anaheim. Brady can leave the Yard at least one more time this year as Orlando Hernandez is now going to be called for a balk. And that move over, both Carlos Bernhardt and Robbie Alomar told first base umpire Eric Cooper, wait a minute. He balked, and they were right. Torrey and Jose Cardinal don't think so. Didn't come set for a second?
No, he was set, but what you have to do is you have to make a distinctive step to first base. You can't spin and throw. In other words, the left foot, you cannot pivot on it. You have to pick it up and step towards first. That's a rule that they've asked the pitchers to adhere to over the last couple of years. I mean, that's a great one of your balk moves. You just kind of jump and spin, but they've tried to allow it to make the runners have a better chance. So again, it has to be a definitive step.
Well, Robbie Alomar now in scoring position for Brady Anderson. Those have a chance to knot it up here in the 5th. Fastball miss. I'm saying if Brady goes out of the yard one more time, he will match his season total from 1997. When he drilled 18 home runs. Got jammed and popped it up. Lowell and Posada, and it's Posada to make the grab. Why, Hernandez sawed Brady Anderson off, got in on his fist, and he popped it up to the catcher, Jorge Posada.
If you watch Brady hit over the last couple of years when he's healthy, he would much rather get the ball out over the plate. Posada moves in, ball right there. Well, you better have a short swing to get to that ball. And you can see the bat underneath the ball. Once again, he'd like to approach the ball from the top, get on top of it, unable to do it, and he pops it up.
Get Willie Green to the plate. Green, who penciled in the number 3 spot for Ray Miller here tonight, trying to pick up Robbie Alomar and tie this up in the bottom of the 5th. Got by Posada all the way to the screen. Alomar will move up 90 feet. A wild pitch on El Duque. Oh, Hernandez not only falling behind Willie Green, now Robbie Alomar just 90 feet away. The 1-0 to Green. Called strike. Willie Green with 5 runs driven in an Orioles uniform. 2-1. Orlando Hernandez get up close and personal with his tough right-hander. So get back over our heads. You know, Jim, almost lost in all of the Cal Ripken unfolding story tonight is the fact that what had been talked about for quite some time was made official in the Oriole front office today, and that Pat Gillick indeed announced that he will not return to the Orioles beyond the length of his current 3-year deal that will expire next week. Pat Gillick, in his 3 years here, of course, architected a couple of trips to the Orioles postseason with also the departed Kevin Malone. 2-2 to Green. This is chopped off the plate. Hernandez and Soho both trying to get there, and the baseball rolls foul.
So he's done a marvelous job. I saw him on the bench, and I said, you know, whatever happens, you know, best of luck and whatever. But you know, they had an article yesterday in the paper, Baltimore Sun, talking to Davey Johnson, interviewed, saying that he just thought that the Orioles were going in the right direction with Kevin Malone and Pat Gillick, and not only were they able to acquire players at a major league level, but also the farm system. And I think we're seeing that. I mean, you're seeing Ryan Meyer, and you're seeing Fussell, you're seeing Pickering. We're seeing the resurrection of Rocky Carpenter. I mean, it seems like Matt Riley, the young left-hander down at A-ball, down at Delmarva. So you just hope that search committee can come up with somebody as good as Pat Gillick and Kevin Malone.
So now we know for sure there are 2 spots to be filled in the Orioles front office, GM and assistant GM. Another 2-2 to Willie Green. Backed him off with a fastball. The Orioles did read Joe Foss receive permission to speak to a former Oriole front office member who's now with the Cleveland Indians, Dan O'Dowd. And he could potentially be in the mix. The 3-2 to Green. Missed down and in. Willie Green draws a 2-out walk from Orlando Hernandez, and that'll give Rafael Palmeiro an opportunity.
I'll tell you, El Duque doesn't speak English, but in English, you don't want to be walking around Willie Green to get Rafi. It's not a high percentage move. I know he didn't do it on purpose, but he pitched him like it was Babe Ruth at the plate. Trying to make the perfect pitch. Change-ups and fastballs in, couldn't do it, and now you got the big bopper.
Sitting right on 300 with his 121 runs driven in after he drove in a pair yesterday. Mel Stottlemyre wants to have a chat with Orlando Hernandez.
Well, you know, it's interesting. You talked about the candidates, and they'll have that search committee that will go out and try to find a general manager and, I assume, assistant general manager. But as always, I was on the internet this morning and was reading Peter Gammons of the Boston Globe, and he was talking to Jim Bowden. First of all, Sammy Ellis, who is the minor league pitching coordinator for Boston, was let go, or actually resigned when they let Bob Schaefer go. He was their farm director, but anyway, Bowden hired him. He also has an offer out to Buddy Bell, who was let go as manager of the Tigers, to run whatever farm system. Buddy doing that with the White Sox a couple of years ago. So it's going to be an interesting couple of weeks where they find somebody that will come over here and try to continue the legacy of Pat Gillick.
2 postseason appearances in the 3 years that Pat Gillick was here. There's Rafael Palmeiro. Runners on the corners now in this 2-1 Yankee lead. As Hernandez will stay inside trying to tie up Palmeiro, but fall behind at 1-0. Rafael's hit the ball in the air both times tonight. He flied to Chad Curtis in right. He popped out to Derek Jeter. And loaded his 43rd home run of the year on this homestand earlier this week. 1-1 on Palmeiro.
I don't know how old El Duque is, but he could pitch to both sides of the plate with the best of them. I mean, you don't know if he's coming in or he's going away. So really, until 2 strikes, it becomes a guessing game. And I look right there. Ralphie said, "I'm going to get a fastball." And looking in, and that's how he fouled off his foot.
Well, you said it at the top, Jim. The left-handers have to be ready to carry the banner because against right-handed pitching, right-handed hitting, it's just a rumor to the right-handers at 153. Palmeiro waits a 1-1 from El Duque. Fly ball, short right. Chuck now block in foul territory with room to make the basket grab. Inning over. We're going to go to the 6th. Orioles strand a couple. Get 1 on the base hit from Robbie Alomar. Cal Ripken in the bullpen. Strange sight with Alan Mills.
Flying to the New England area for business? If these 17 reasons don't convince you to fly Southwest Airlines nonstop to Providence or Manchester, maybe this will. Call 1-800-I-FLY-SWA.
You are now free to move about the country.
In today's sophisticated marketplace, the slightest glitch in the flow of information can cripple your business. Fortunately, one communications giant is fielding the solution. Whether your business is large or small, Bell Atlantic can help you expand your information pipeline, eliminating potential bottlenecks and ensuring a steady stream of success. Wild things are happening. Bell Atlantic. We'll see you there.
Dr. Jekyll, stop this experiment! I will unlock the secrets and the hidden potential within us all. No, Doctor, please! Huh?
Wow, got any more? Hey, you are what you drink.
Baseball City, USA, the home of every Orioles fan. O's, Blue Jays, Game 2, Tuesday night at 7, only on HTX.
Let's take a look at our Samuel Adams What's on Tap on the television side. We're going to head up to Sky Dome in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. We'll be there Tuesday and Wednesday nights. We'll be on Home Team Sports both evenings, and Rick Cerrone will join me. We'll be at Orioles Report at 6:30, and then we'll play baseball at 7 o'clock. It'll be Mike Messina on Tuesday night going for the O's in search of his 14th win of the year. Messina will work against Chris Carpenter, the young right-hander for Toronto. The Jays still alive in the postseason hunt in the American League, so you're going to want to be around with us on Tuesday night out of Toronto. We get another look at Chris Fussell. Fussell, the young man from the Toledo, Ohio area, just outside Toledo in Oregon. And you take a look at his numbers in Bowie and Rochester, double and triple A, where he went 8 and 9. But, Jim, we were very impressed with this young man in facing Texas the other evening here at the Yard.
He did not have command of his fastball, throwing harder apparently than what he did at double A and even triple A, but great breaking ball. He was totally unpredictable. Change-ups, sliders, I mean quality sliders, ball just sliding down and away to the righties. And there's the slider he threw the other night.
Oh, Fussell facing Luis Sojo. And then back to the top of the Yankee lineup, Chuck Knobloch and Derek Jeter. Well, 3 right-handed hitters. Well, Pete Smith came on to work in relief of Doug Johns, and now it's Chris Fussell here starting inning number 6 in this 2-1 Yankee lead. Sojo has had a couple of base hits and driven in a run tonight, and he's ahead of Fussell 3-1.
Yeah, he's been the man tonight.
Bottom of the lineup, Lowell and Sojo, 8 and 9. 4 hits between the two of them. Line drive that Bordick goes backhand with a couple of quick steps to his right. Now Sojo hit a rocket, but Mike Bordick picked it off.
And Chris Fussell, welcome to the big leagues right there. 3-1. He's looking all over your fastball, and you're right, nailed it. Once again, Bordick with a very good jump. Just remember, when the ball gets into the hitting zone, everybody is on the balls of their feet, and that's how they get those kind of jumps. And the better infielders, they'll lean a little bit depending on the count.
There's Chuck Knobloch now, looks at a called strike on the Fussell fastball.
That's why it's so important when a catcher sits in a certain area. The infielders know what's coming. A fastball away, it may lean a little bit to your left up the middle if you're a shortstop, and then of course if you miss your target.
Knobloch line drive that Ryan Miner will spear with a dive to his right. The youngster out of the University of Oklahoma making his presence felt with a glove. Taking away extra bases from Knobloch, who was staring at Ryan Miner.
Oh, here's a perfect example. See how he just gets on, bounces as the ball is in the hitting zone. Wonderful play. Well, Mike Regis told you, he was a great basketball player, great reflexes. And that ball hooking away from him, nice grab. Otherwise, it would have been a double.
Cal wanted to take a second look as he sits in the Orioles bullpen. Jesse Orozco. Derek Jeter. Jeter had a chance to bust this one open in the 4th inning. Bases loaded with 1 out against Doug Johns, but hit a hard ground ball at Mike Bordick, who started the 6-4-3 double play to get out of it. Well, Fussell has thrown 2 line drives. That's what you said about Doug Johns. Let him hit it hard at somebody.
Well, I didn't. That doesn't work well over the course of your career.
No, I say that facetiously.
I still remember the late Jim Harden pitching with the Orioles, winds blowing in about 30 miles per hour in Miami, and the Dodgers hit about 3 home runs, but the wind keeps him in the ballpark, and he comes in smiling to Hank Bauer and says, sometimes you got to pitch with the elements. And Hank looked at him. He said, yeah, you'll be pitching with the elements in Rochester. Changes attitude in a second.
Fussell missed with the slider. 2-2 now on Derek Jeter.
Oh, it's just a learning situation for a young pitcher like Fussell. You know, the other night he actually pitched backwards. He got behind and then got his breaking ball over, and he was very difficult for the Rangers to sit on anything. Tonight he got behind, and they looked fastball, got fastball, and hit the 2 balls hard. So that tells him right there it's not any way to pitch.
Chris Fussell was in spring training with the O's the past couple of years. 40-man roster. And Jeter just got a piece. All right, let's revisit now our Time Bridge Technologies trivia. Orlando Hernandez, El Duque, the 9th Cuban to play for the Yankees. Name the last Cuban Yankee pitcher.
I'm going with Louis Tiant myself.
El Tiante? I think you're right on the money there. I'll go with Tiant myself, too. Yeah, good call, Jim.
Yeah, most people think of Louis as a Red Sox and the Cleveland Indian. Pitched a little bit with the Yanks.
Jeter with a shot up the middle. Bordick with a dive, got by his glove into center field. And Derek Jeter, I'll tell you what, you talk about going line to line, Jim. Derek Jeter does that, and he has his second base hit. Number 11 on the night for the Yankees. Hot shot up the middle for Jeter.
He just can hit the ball hard. And watch his approach right to the plate. Inside out. You know, we talk all year about keeping your hands inside the ball, not hitting around the ball. The bat stays on plane longer. He does that real well.
3 balls hit very hard off Chris Fussell, the youngster. However, 2 down and just 1 on, and he's going to get out of this inning as Bernie Williams on the first pitch. On the ground at Robbie Alomar. So that'll do it. We're through 5.5. Fussell gets through the Yankees without any problem. 2-1 New York.
I'll take it.
Feel like you're in heaven now. Get a cashback bonus award later. Hallelujah. Discover the feeling. It pays.
Connecting with the wrong internet provider can leave even the most experienced net user frustrated and abandoned. Now there's a better way. BellAtlantic.net, with access to Big Yellow, your Yellow pages on the web, and a helpful staff to guide you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Bell Atlantic can open doors to the internet you never knew existed. Wild things are happening. Bell Atlantic. We'll see you there.
Sooner or later, a Mazda's going to move you. We just thought we'd speed up the process. Mazda's Make Your Move clearance event. Get 0.9% APR financing on thousands of new Mazdas, or cash back on Mazda Protege or Mazda B-Series. Call or visit our website for details. See your Mazda dealer and make your move today.
Welcome back here to Baltimore's Camden Yards. Instead of showing you a Geico highlight, now we thought we'd maybe ask somebody behind us what they think of the potential of Cal Ripken's streak ending tonight at 2,631. Sir, if you don't mind coming up here a little bit, what about the possibilities of Ripken's streak ending? What are your thoughts on it? What are your thoughts on Cal's streak possibly ending tonight?
I don't know. Never know.
How about you, ma'am?
What did you say?
I said, how about Ripken's streak ending tonight? What do you?
How about it ending? I think he's had a great run. I hate to see him end, but I think he's done great. Really great.
Thank you very much, ma'am. And let's go back upstairs now to Michael.
Okay, Tommy. We appreciate that. And we're going to the bottom of the 6th here at the yard in this 2-1 Yankee lead. Calvin Pickering had a base hit his last time. Oh, Calvin 1 for 2 after his first big league home run yesterday off David Cone. Fly ball left field. Backing up and putting it away is Chad Curtis. Curtis has moved over to left field. We've got some Yankee changes The Chad Curtis in left field. And it looks like Ricky Leday has taken over in right field.
Could they get some youngsters or what?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so all out. Yeah, they got to pick up the catcher.
Right.
Got Spencer who hit the grand slam. They got Lowell, who we've seen with a couple of hits. He hit 26 home runs. Leday supposed to. Everybody wanted him in trades.
Now Ryan Minor tried to check his swing, got fooled, and rolled it right back to El Duque, who throws Minor out. Oh, a couple of quick ones. Pickering and Minor down against Orlando Hernandez. Are you looking for your best deal on a new used car, O's fans? And go to see Mr. Nobody's Town & Country Pontiac Suzuki on Bel Air Road in Perry Hall. If it's not a Town & Country deal for Mr. Nobody and his staff, and they'll be ready for you tomorrow morning, Monday morning. It's just not your best deal. This is B.J. Surhoff. B.J. has hit the ball on the ground at Luis Sojo both times tonight. Bounced out twice.
28 games since B.J. hit his last home run. Well, a little bit of a drought.
As we talked about quite a bit here in the last 2 weeks of baseball, it certainly looked like B.J. was on line to set a career high on the RBI side, maybe even on the home run side. But he's been in a little bit of a long ball drought as of late, as this falls safely with Lowell chasing. Career high of 88 runs driven in, set last year here in an Orioles uniform. The 1-2. 2-2 on Surhoff. B.J. has a week of baseball left. He's 3 away with his 85 RBI. Bouncing ball to Chuck Knobloch. He'll handle the big hop. Throw out Surhoff. Orioles down very quietly in the 6th. 7th inning is next. Orlando Hernandez and the Yankees with a 2-1 lead.
I'm so happy. I'm floating on cloud nine. I'm so happy. I'm feeling swell. Life is so sublime.
Imagine feeling this good about your car insurance bill.
Gosh darn incredibly happy.
That's happy, baby. Geico Direct. A 15-minute call could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
It's been totally re-engineered and redesigned with more safety features, more performance, more luxury, and more power than ever before. Introducing the all-new Jeep Grand Cherokee. The most capable sport utility ever. Check one out at your Jeep dealer.
Break through to the new world of Mach 3 from Gillette. The first triple blade shaving system. 3 blades specially positioned to shave progressively closer. You take 1 stroke, it takes 3. So you don't have to shave the same area over and over, which means less irritation. 3 blades, fewer strokes, less irritation. Mach 3 from Gillette.
As we get set to start inning number 7 here at Oriole Park, let's take a look at our Southwest Airlines game summary. Cal Ripken did not make the start tonight. If you're just joining us, that the major story that unfolded unbeknownst to just about everybody but Cal Ripken. His name was in the original lineup. He begged off consecutive game streak at 2,632. If he doesn't appear tonight, obviously that will come to an end. Ripken did ask Ray Miller to have this be the night that he wasn't included in the lineup. Ryan Miner started at third base tonight. Floyd Rayford started at third base. The last time Cal did not make a starting appearance in 1982. And Jim Palmer, you were part of that ball club. So here's the lineup, May 29th, 1982, when Cal Ripken was last not in an Orioles starting lineup. And on the right of your screen, obviously, how it looks tonight.
Well, I've said it many times, just think about what you were doing on that day and how long ago that was.
16 years plus. 2,632 baseball games ago. Chili Davis, first pitch swinging on Chris Fussell. Davis retired on the bouncy ball to Robbie Alomar. I want to give kudos to Jeff Herbert and John Hoagland, our two outstanding graphics operators down in the truck, for putting together all of the Cal Ripken knowledge for you to be a part of here tonight. Job well done, guys. And I bet you there's more coming, knowing those two. Put them on the spot in case there is one.
Well, I can help him out.
Back to work.
The first game that he started, I was pitching that night. Or I was out there.
Yeah, that you're talking about not to start on May 30th.
Yes.
But that night?
The 30th. That was the 29th that we saw. The last night he didn't play. I pitched the next night when he started the streak. '82 could have been a good start. 83 and 4.
Now, there's Jorge Posada now. Line drive that's speared by Chris Fussell. Posada out in the line drive right back to the mound. Young Mr. Fussell kind of nonchalanted it. Baseball and glove.
A little changeup that is up in the strike zone, but it's hit on the end of the bat, so it's not hit that hard. Hits it right on the end of the bat, and just kind of reach over and grab it.
Well, there's Ricky Leday. Leday came on in the bottom of the 6th inning as he was inserted defensively for Tim Raines, with Curtis moving to left field. Ricky Leday appearing in his 35th game as a Yankee this year. He's gone back and forth. So Jim, can you imagine at AAA this year they've had Shane Spencer, Ricky Leday, Mike Lowell, and Figa in the middle of their lineup, doing some damage down there at that level. Homer Bush, another pretty nice young talent in this ball club. He's been here all year.
Right, and he came over in the Arabu trade.
2-1 to Leday. Fussell just threw a fastball right by him. And Chris Fussell can get low to mid-90s. But you made a good point about the other night. This is breaking ball. Line drive right at Mike Bordick. Inning over. Let's stretch it. We're through 6.5 here at the yard. Chris Fussell's worked a couple of scoreless innings. 2-1 New York. Big cities face many large challenges. But when cities and businesses pitch in, needs become goals, and goals become realities. That's the premise behind the Orioles Saturn Field of Dreams. This joint effort between your Baltimore area Saturn retailers and the Orioles has resulted in the completion of 3 pro-style Little League fields, 2 in Baltimore City and 1 in Anne Arundel County, with 3 more scheduled to be built next year. It's the Orioles and Saturn's way of saying thank you.
Whether on the job or in your home, Carroll Independent Fuel is there, where it counts, when it counts. For nearly 100 years, Carroll Independent Fuel has been meeting the energy needs of people throughout the Baltimore area. And now we're bringing that commitment home to your neighborhood with quality products like Citgo gasoline. Carroll Independent Fuel, your energy source for life.
I'll take it.
Feel like you're in heaven now. Get a cashback bonus award later. Hallelujah. Discover the feeling. It pays.
Welcome back to Baltimore's Camden Yards. Tom Davis with what usually is an SK scoreboard, but we're going to substitute scores now with Ernie Tyler, the man whose streak is longer than Cal Ripken's. Ernie, 3,076 games dating back to 1960 for you. Did you think Cal Ripken would end the streak now?
I'm sorry, I didn't.
Did you think Cal Ripken was going to end the streak this season?
No, I had no idea. I was really surprised. I looked at third base and I saw Minor down there, and I figured, well, you know, they're just going to do that for a little while. I had no idea.
Turned out to be one of the best kept secrets in Baltimore, huh?
I guess it must have. Yeah, I understand that his name was actually on the lineup card and scratched out.
How do you feel about his career here? You've seen him play every game here in Baltimore that he ever played in. The career's far from over, I would imagine.
He's got a great career. I don't think he's anywhere near finished, but, you know, he'll just keep going. It's just, I guess it was time to take a little rest.
A few moments ago, he was out there shaking hands with the people in the bleachers. I thought that was a tremendous gesture during it.
I saw him doing that. I bet those people were really thrilled. That was just like the night he hit 21-30.
All right, Ernie Tyler, our thanks to him. He's been out here helping the umpires and servicing this ball club since 1960. You know, it's kind of ironic. Some of the things that I think about this whole Ripken thing coming to an end, as I mentioned earlier to you, 500 games exactly to the 21-31. It's 26-31 if the streak does actually end. And the other thing is it's against the Yankees, and the last home regular season game for 98. You know, HTS started in 84, and we're completing our 15th season this year. So actually the streak started a year and a half before HTS ever went on the air. Just a couple of the things that I remember about it. Let's go back upstairs now to Michael.
All right, Tom Davis, do appreciate that. Always good to hear from Ernie Tyler. Another Iron Man going back even longer than Cal Ripken as we look at a Catonsville product, Jeff Nelson. Nelson, who has finally gotten back and been able to throw off the DL for the New York Yankees, taking over for El Duque, Orlando Hernandez, here in the bottom of the seventh.
Yeah, he hasn't been an Iron Man as he missed 65 games with some back problems.
Lenny Webster to lead it off. Webster has scored the Oriole run tonight. He had a two-base hit in the fifth and rode home on Robbie Alomar's base hit. The 1-0 from Nelson. Fastball for a called strike.
And righties have always had trouble hitting Nelson, very much like El Duque, because of he's 6'7". He throws from shortstop, it seems, sometimes. This year, no exception. Righties at 269, lefties at 320. And there's that big breaking ball. He doesn't have the command that El Duque has. So he can get wild.
Well, Joe Torre trying to find out a little bit about Jeff Nelson. And not much time to find out about him. As far as will he get back to that setup role in the Yankee bullpen. This is badly with a slider, and he's behind 3-1. Joe Torre and Mel Stottlemyre.
Well, it looks like Jeff's got him talking to himself. Joe going 2-1 slider. Lenny Webster came out of the bullpen. Ball 4.
And he's walked Webster to lead off inning number 7. I want to remind you, those fans of Haas Tailoring invite you to visit their Baltimore showroom to check out their new fall fabrics. If it's more convenient for you, you can purchase Haas custom clothing at one of the following retailers you see on your screen. Or you could give Matthew Haas a call. They'll take good care of you. So will all the Haas folks. 410-732-3800. Well, here's Mike Bordick now. We'll see if Ray Miller has a mind to move Lenny Webster along here in the bottom of the 7th.
Yeah, I think he would. And the reason I'll say that, he wants to stay out of the double play. And how do you do that? You bunt. No, Ray's saying this year he'd like to have Mike Bordick runners at first and third situations, try to push the ball by the pitcher towards the first baseman. You stay out of double play, you get a run in, you also move a runner into scoring position. And that's one of the things he said last spring in Fort Lauderdale. Mike Bordick's not going to hit into 23 double plays this year.
Called strike on the Nelson fastball. He's hit into 13, Jim.
So he's halved it, and that's some of the strategy. And he's also been able to have an outstanding year, his best year offensively as far as hitting home runs.
And long look down to Sam Palazzo. Burdick awaits the 1-1. Nelson's going to go to first base. Birds try to end on a high note here at home after losing 4 of the last 5. Burdick will push the bunt hard at Soho. He thought about going to Jeter. Well, he'll take the sure thing with Knobloch. Sacrifice bunt for Mike Burdick. That is his 15th of the year to lead the ball club. All right, let's take a look at our Mid-Atlantic Milk Marketing Association home run chase update. Mark McGwire left the yard at County Stadium this afternoon. Should have been given credit for a second one, too. Should be sitting on 66. It'll be just 65 as McGwire also doubled off the top of the wall in left center field. So McGwire on 65. And Joe Torre is on his way out to the mound. And Joe Torre is going to go to the bullpen. We'll be right back to tell you about Mike Stanton coming on to take over for Jeff Nelson when we get back to the yard.
Baseball City, USA, the home of every Orioles fan. O's, Blue Jays, Game 2, Tuesday night at 7, only on HTS.
HTS coverage of Orioles baseball is brought to you by Circuit City. Answers in every department and low prices all over the store. And also by Heineken. Brew truth since 1886. Open a Heineken and let the truth pour out. Seek the truth. Heineken. Hope you're joined tonight as we head to inning number 8 here at the yard, along with our producer Chris Crane, director Bill Bell, all of our outstanding crew, Tom Davis, Jim Palmer. I'm Michael Regai, and Jorge Posada gets on this baseball quickly, Jim, and Mike Stanton's coming to the plate with Lenny Webster.
I think this kind of mirrors the Yankees' year. I mean, a unique way to get out of the inning. I don't think he tagged him. His hand is well on the plate, but Greg Koss can't see this. Now he's trying to get the right angle. Now he's blindsided. He has to really look through Stanton. He doesn't know if the hand's there or whatever. But the ball bounces right back to Posada. He makes a nice play. I mean, heads up play by Stanton. Be there. But Koss is just guessing. Now look at the left hand. In.
Tag came up high on the left shoulder.
And of course, Lenny, you'll see right there, he's not happy with this call. Sneaks it in there.
Sure appeared from a couple of angles that Lenny Webster with a head-first slide had the left hand and arm to the plate as Stanton then applied the tag up high. Greg Costo rung him up and into the Orioles 7th. So let's go to the 8th. Yankees still lead it 2-1 as Chad Curtis leads off against Chris Fussell. Eric Davis has taken over in right field for the O's, replacing Willie Green.
You talked about something when you first look at the press guide. You know, you look at the Yankees and Toronto and the Red Sox and look at the schedule, and if everything according to Hoyle, this would have been a very memorable series. If you anticipated that, can you imagine that call in a 2-1 ball game
with the American League East Division title on the line?
Yeah.
The reverberations would be ringing all over baseball. Chad Curtis has walked and scored a run tonight in 2 official turns. Curtis, Mike Lowell, Luis Soho. This is a 7, 8, and 9 at the bottom of Joe Torre's lineup against the youngster Chris Fussell. The 1-2. 2-2 now on Curtis. Doug Johns got the start tonight for Ray Miller. Pete Smith followed, and now Chris Fussell, the 22-year-old. Curtis got a piece of a 2-2 pitch to stay alive.
The Orioles have to be very pleased that Chris was able to go to Rochester, win 8, lose 3, pitch well in his major league debut. I mean, just think about it. First game ever, a start against Texas.
Curtis with a ground ball wide of third. Ryan Miner with range to his left to throw out Curtis.
I mean, the Rangers number 2 in average. They're actually number 1 in average, number 2 in runs. Very impressed were the Orioles in spring training with Ryan Miner. And an interesting thing to me, the mentoring process is such an important part of any continuity something that Tom Davis asked Peter Angelos, but every day since Ryan Miner has been up here, Cal and Ryan taking ground balls at third base, talking about style and no doubt substance. So Cal helping the youngster as he did in spring training, and what a guy to learn from. I mean, it started, my career started when Robin Roberts, as my roommate, took me under his wing and taught me about pitching, along with Dick Hall and Harvey Haddix and all those other people. And that's what good organizations do. None of them being threatened that eventually one of those guys may take your job.
Mike Lowell has his third base hit of the night. Reached out, stroked a single to center. Now Lowell is aboard for the third time, and he has base hit number 12 for the Yankees.
And it almost looks like Lowell, having played at Columbus, and Chris Fussell playing at Rochester, kind of knows him. And he just picked on a slider, smacked it back up the middle.
Hey, we talked about statistics earlier. Had we known that Chris Fussell was going to pitch tonight, Mike Lowell was going to be in the Yankees starting lineup, we could have went to the International League matchups and gotten what Fussell and Lowell did against one another.
Oh yeah, that's right. 28.5 games behind in the race.
That's what I mean about statistics. They're everywhere in this day and age of baseball.
Well, that's the other night. I mean, a lot of times the managers will bring in lefties to face lefty. I remember when Buck Showalter did it with Jim Poole.
Yeah. Lowell's going. Soho, ground ball to the left of Alomar. Robbie will flag it down and throw out Luis Soho. Soho tried to get a hit-and-run base hit started toward right field to Robbie Alomar. Kind of put the brakes on. Had to start to his right with Lowell breaking, and then came back to throw out Soho.
A little hit and run. You can see Lowell check to see if the ball is hit. Robbie takes a look. How about the double play he turned yesterday? Kind of flipped it backhanded. Another rocket. He is just playing very well. Well, as always.
Here's Chuck Knobloch. Knobloch has a base hit in 4 turns. Ryan Miner robbed him of extra bases in the 6th inning, as Knobloch sizzled a hard low-line drive that Miner went across his body and made the backhanded stab. Yankees with a 2-1 lead, and they have Mike Lowell in scoring position here in the 8th. 1-1 on Knobloch. The New Yorkers 14-17 in their last 31 games. The highest they've been above 500 in 62 games. Obviously, the numbers I just gave you, 3 under in the last 31, so they are sitting at 59 games over coming in here tonight. 2-1 on Knobloch. But Jim, again, we talked about this Friday night. When you clinch on the 9th of September, the second earliest in the last 30 years for the Big Red Machine Cincinnati Reds, who clinched on the 7th of September in 1975. We saw the Orioles go through this the last month of September. Start September, the Yankees were 10 games back of the O's. They wound up 2 back in 1997 as the Orioles played about 500 ball for the last 30 games. It's just tough to stay locked in.
Well, we won some pennants for the years. We won 109, 108, 101 ball games by rather substantial margins. And what Earl Weaver did was use your extra men because you will invariably use them in postseason, in pinch hitting, especially when you play the National League. Because back then we didn't have the DH. That was the early part. But Frank Crosetti, who was on, I don't know, he coached and played for the Yankees, had something like, I don't know, 12 World Series rings or whatever the case might be. Lives in Oakland, and he went in and when the Yankees were playing the Oakland Athletics, and he told Joe Torre, he said, you know, Joe McCarthy never let us relax. He said, don't let this team relax. And I don't think this team, I mean, with their work ethic, I don't think they are going to relax. I mean, it's not like they're going to turn it off and turn it on.
Again, a 2-2 to Knobloch. 3-2. Jim, I think that's how you win 106 games to begin with, because of your work ethic and you don't relax. And I'm sure your Oriole teams did the same thing. You don't win that many games unless you come every day focused and ready to play.
Because you look at this team, and obviously they may go down as winning as many or more games than conceivably they could win more games, I guess, than anybody in the American League history.
Knobloch with a ground ball to the left of Minor. He'll pick it, get up, and his throw is not in time. Knobloch beat it.
That's what I'm talking about. Now, he doesn't know that Minor has to dive for this ball, but he smells base hit. And if you're not going full out, watch him go down the line. Nice play by Minor. He's going to catch it. He loses his balance, comes up. Quick throw, and just beats it. All out, like a 100-yard dash, except it's only 90 feet.
From the very first step, right out of the gate, Chuck Knobloch able to beat that throw from Ryan Minor after he made the stab to his left of the bouncing ball.
I think Mike Flanagan might be coming out right here to talk about the first and third situation. Knobloch, very good base runner with 30 steals. What are you going to do if he runs? And it's a running situation. They would love to be able to pick up another run.
So the conference will break up.
Yeah, I'm not sure what kind of speed Lowell has. He's more of a home run hitter, even though he's seen the 3 base hits. But this is a running situation. Are you going to throw through? Are you going to throw it back to the pitcher? Or are you going to hit the second baseman or shortstop in between the pitcher's mound and second? Are you going to fake the second and try to throw him at third? I mean, these are all the options that Lenny Webster and Chris Fussell have to deal with, not to mention the Orioles' interior defense.
And he's going to have to deal with Derek Jeter. See the Jeter story on this Sunday night. A couple of base hits and a walk. Lowell at third, Knobloch at first. The Yankees have out-hit the Orioles 13-5, but only have a 2-1 lead. This game much in the balance yet here tonight.
You know, Jeter has an outside chance at maybe winning a batting title.
Sure. If his teammate Bernie Williams doesn't.
I mean, Vaughn up at 332. Eric Davis a couple of points higher than him. Alex Rodriguez and Jeter.
Russell missing with that slider. He's falling behind Jeter.
Told you about earlier, talking to Don Zimmer about the defensive wizardry of Jeter. He said, you know, the simple things sometimes you just take for granted. He had the only problem he really had fielding was going up the middle. He would try to do it with 2 hands, the ball to his left up the middle. And they taught him, if you reach out with just your glove hand. I guess he was such a sound fundamental shortstop. He always wanted to catch the ball with 2 hands. Started reaching out with his left hand. It allowed him to get to balls that were just out of reach last year.
It's about as refined as they come. Talk about playing a very difficult position. Jeter awaits a 2-0 from Fussell. Line drive, right field, base hit in the corner. Might score a pair. Lowell to the plate. Knobloch's being waved in. Jeter thinking 3. Alomar's throw to Minor. The slide, not in time. 2-run triple, Derek Jeter. His 3rd base hit of the night. Drives in a couple. So the all-out hustle of Chuck Knobloch to pick up that infield base hit turns into a couple of Yankee runs as Jeter triples to the corner and right.
Well, right you are, Mike. That's a great call because you're, in essence, getting an extra out. Instead of being on your way to the bench to get your glove. And here's Derek Jeter. This is what he does best. Inside out base hit. Now watch him right here. He's going to slow down a little bit at second because with 2 outs there's no advantage, but then he says, hey, I got to triple all the way. And in the year of home runs, boy, this is an exciting play because look at all the dynamics. Davis is going to try to get it in the corner. He's going to have to get the cutoff man. Alomar is going to wheel. Perfect throw in one hop, and they almost get him, but not quite. A lot of stuff going on a triple in the major league level.
You just said it. Most exciting play in baseball, bar none, especially with a couple on and everybody in motion.
Not for Chris Fussell, it wasn't very exciting, but
you're right.
For the Yanks.
You know, Fussell has given up a couple, still not out of it, as Bernie Williams just got a piece of it and fouled it back. Williams had a base hit and scored a run in 4 plate appearances tonight.
It could all be downhill for Chris Fussell. He's had 2 major league appearances, once against the Rangers. They lead the league in batting average and second in runs, and the other team, even though they're not all, you know, Martinez and O'Neill not playing, the other guys are number 2 in average and number 1 in runs.
Well, Chris was saying, when does Tampa Bay show up? Missed inside, 2-1 on Bernie Williams. The 2 runs driven in by Derek Jeter put him over the 80 mark this year. Jeter with now 82 RBI. Hard ground ball that's just foul outside the line. Now we want to remind you, make sure you do not move when this one is decided tonight. As you see, everything getting set up, the live coverage of the Cal Ripken press conference. Again, if you're just joining us, Cal Ripken will be joined by Ray Miller, the manager of the O's, and Ryan Miner, the young man that played third base in his stead tonight. Cal Ripken, he was in the original lineup, but pulled himself out by asking manager Ray Miller to do so and take his name off the lineup card. You'll see it not only here on HTS, but also on Fox Sports News soon as we're done tonight here at Oriole Park. The Yanks with a couple here in the 8th on Derek Jeter's 2-run triple. Have extended the lead now to 3 at 4-1. 2-2 to Bernie Williams. Tried to check his swing. He went too far. Williams a strikeout victim as Lenny Webster will apply the tag. That'll do it. But Derek Jeter delivered for the Yankees with his 2-out, 2-run triple to the corner and right. 4-1 New York when we get back to the yard.
Break through to the new world of Mach 3 from Gillette, the first triple blade shaving system. 3 blades specially positioned to shave progressively closer. You take 1 stroke, it takes 3. So you don't have to shave the same area over and over, which means less irritation. 3 blades, fewer strokes, less irritation. Mach 3 from Gillette.
Life on land is dry. It's time to escape. Get wet. Eat with your hands. Dip, splash, crack, and taste seafood as fresh as the sea itself. At Red Lobster, because life on land is dry.
In case you just tuned in, the Weather Service has issued a severe thunderstorm warning for our entire broadcasting area. Already, in addition to the heavy rains, there have been reports of lightning strikes as well as extensive flooding throughout our region. Currently, the forecast calls for continued thunderstorms this afternoon and evening, with another 8 to 10 inches of rain possible before this storm system moves out of our area. Now, remember, there's a traveler's advisory in effect until 11 o'clock tonight. So it looks like the only thing to do is to stay inside. Stay tuned for more severe weather updates.
Those fans, let's talk about you getting something nice to eat. And if you're tired of the parking problems in Little Italy, that Samore serves terrific southern Italian cuisine and either family style or new single serving portion.
Samore.
Oh, that's terrific accompaniment too, located on Kenilworth Drive in Towson with DC locations. And Jim Palmer might be there to sing for you also. Well, Cal Ripken, if he doesn't have anything to do on a particular night.
He's thinking right now, he said, you know what, I made the right decision. Not about, I'll let him explain why he's stop the continuous game streak, but I made the right decision not being a pitcher. I would have done this. Boring.
Cal sitting with Ryan Miner, and then Oriole bench. Here's Rafael Palmeiro. Rafael was at the plate in the bottom of the 7th when Stanton delivered a wild pitch back to the screen with the bases loaded. Jorge Posada played the carom and threw Lenny Webster out in a controversial call at the plate by home plate umpire Greg Casa. Rung Webster up. It appeared Lenny had beaten the throw. Should be out of play. 1-1 on Palmeiro, leading off the O's 8th in a 4-1 Yankee lead.
We had great difficulty beating the Kansas City Royals in Kansas City when they had Amos Otis and Hal McRae and George Brett and Al Cowens and whatever. And we came in and on a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday night, and I pitched the first night. And the night before, Amos Otis had tried to stretch a triple into an inside the Parker and got thrown out.
Line shot off the glove of Stanton, deflected at Jeter, who would throw Palmeiro out. Stanton maybe just got a piece of that to slow it down a shade. Derek Jeter quickly picked it and threw out Rafael Palmeiro, who just hit a rocket back through the middle. All rights to our baseball telecast tonight are reserved. Any rebroadcast, recording, retransmission, or other use of all the pictures without the express written permission of the Baltimore Orioles and CBS Cable is solely prohibited. Lyle Mouton and a hit for Calvin Pickering. Oh, the big right-handed hitter out of LSU, Lyle Mouton.
So I'll make just completely finish the story. So the next night I pitch and we have a 3-2 lead, and Amos hits a ball in the 8th inning against the wall. Baylor traps it against the wall. It goes into left center field. Blair picks it up. Amos comes flying around third and remembers the night before he had been thrown out, took a little bit of flack, and he stops at third. John Mayberry. Big John Mayberry's the next hitter, and I figure, okay, I better reach back and get a little bit of fastball, and I throw the first ball up and in, and it goes right by Andy Etchebarren, right off the backstop on one hop to Andy, who throws it to me, and I tagged him about 20 feet up the line. And that's how we had to beat the Royals in Kansas City at that particular time, because they just seemed to be a run or two better than us. So here, probably 15, 18 years later, a similar play. They get the call from the umpire. A tough call for Casa. I don't know how he would have gotten a better position, but I just don't think he could see whether he tagged him or not. And it was tough from our angle.
Right. But it appeared Webster might have got his hand and the forearm across the plate. The tag was there, but it came up high on Lenny's left shoulder. Lyle Mouton awaiting a 3-1 from Mike Stanton here in the 8th. And Stanton has walked the third hitter since he's entered here in the 7th. He walked Alomar, he walked Eric Davis, pinch hitting for Willie Green, and now he's walked Lyle Mouton. And Joe Torre with a 3-run advantage is on his way out. And that's going to do it for Mike Stanton. No, we'll get you back to the yard in a moment. Tell you about Joe Torre's selection. Yankees lead it 4-1 when we return to the yard.
Yeah, she's been checking me every day, hoping the medicines get here. She's about to run out. Unfortunately, her employer directs her to order her prescriptions by mail. Sure, they're finally here, but in what condition? The FDA found that the inside of a mailbox like me can hit 136 degrees. Freezing cold and moisture may be just as bad. And what about new prescriptions? Can she take them safely with her other ones? Don't ask me. I'm just a mailbox. Count on me for your mail. For your prescriptions, count on your neighborhood community pharmacist.
Dr. Jekyll, stop this experiment. I will unlock the secret to the hidden potential within us all. No, Doctor, please. Huh? Oh.
Wow, got any more? Hey, you are what you drink.
Break through to the new world of Mach 3 from Gillette, the first triple blade shaving system. 3 blades specially positioned to shave progressively closer. You take 1 stroke, it takes 3. So you don't have to shave the same area over and over, which means less irritation. 3 blades, fewer strokes, less irritation. Mach 3 from Gillette.
The Internet.
Imagine national internet, local service.
A professional internet consultant right next door.
Imagine a person you can lean on when you have questions.
Internet Business Solutions.
Imagine the possibilities.
Stereo, national internet, local service.
Most fans, everything you ever want to know about your favorite baseball team. The Orioles is on the Birds' official internet website for statistics, ticket info, and the online Orioles store. Visit today at www.theorioles.com. The G5 view from up top here at Oriole Park. Mike Stanton, as we just said, Jim, walked 3 of the 5 hitters he faced, and now it's going to be Darren Holmes taking over. It's another guy Joe Torre's trying to find out about with regard to the postseason roster.
Yeah, I had a chance to talk to him. I met him, I guess, probably 6-7 years ago in Milwaukee. Went over the expansion draft to Colorado. And actually stayed 25 games for the Rockies 1 year. But he's had back problems, very much like Jeff Nelson. Bulging disc in his back. All started with him favoring his left knee, hurt his back, and was out for almost 5 weeks. So you're right. Who's going to get me to the promised land?
Speaking of promise, Ryan Miner. Spread out at the plate. You see Miner. 3 base hits and 7 plate appearances as Darren Holmes starts him out by missing with a fastball. Miner tonight, base hit for 3 turns. On line to sharp single to right in the 4th inning. Miner, who started tonight for Cal Ripken at 3rd base. At the moment ending Ripken's streak. Although, if Cal does choose to appear, or if Ray Miller decides to insert him here late innings, take on a whole different perspective.
And Holmes always had a big overhand curveball. There it is. Misses with it.
And 2-1 now on Ryan Miner. Again, one more time, I want to remind you, as soon as this game's over, you stay put. Because we're going to bring you live the Cal Ripken press gathering. That features Ryan Miner, the young man at the plate, Ray Miller, and the Orioles Iron Man. Now Holmes has come back to level that count off at 2-2. But fastball, Jim, seemed like it had some movement under the hands of Miner.
That's where they have tried to pitch him. To stay inside. The ball he hit between 1st and 2nd was a fastball out over the plate.
2-2 pitch. Missed down and away. 3-2 on Ryan Miner. How much will the career, if any, of Ryan Miner will parallel Cal Ripken? And that story certainly hangs in the balance and remains a long way down the road to unfold. The 3-2 pitch. Fly ball, short right center field for Ricky Leday. Miner out in the fly ball to right. That's 2 down now here in the O's half of the 8th. Jim, how about some of the dates of importance in Cal Ripken's streak, the milestones from that May night in '82 all the way to this evening? Joe Torre wanted Darren Holmes to get the right-hander Ryan Miner out. Now with B.J. Surhoff, the left-handed hitter at the plate. Joe Torre is back to his bullpen. We'll be right back to the yard. Yanks lead at 4-1.
Yeah, she's been checking me every day, hoping the medicines get here. She's about to run out. Unfortunately, her employer directs her to order her prescriptions by mail. Sure, they're finally here, but in what condition? The FDA found that the inside of a mailbox like me can hit 136 degrees. Freezing cold and moisture may be just as bad. And what about new prescriptions? Can she take them safely with her other ones? Don't ask me. I'm just a mailbox. Count on me for your mail. For your prescriptions, count on your neighborhood community pharmacist.
Dr. Jekyll, stop this experiment. I will unlock the secret to the hidden potential within us all. No, Doctor, please. Huh? Oh.
Wow, got any more? Hey, you are what you drink.
Jeep Cherokee has always been the perfect getaway vehicle. But now, look what you can get away with. The $249 a month Jeep Cherokee lease, where you get 190 horses, automatic transmission, and always capable four-wheel drive. Plus, get these extras, including air conditioning at no extra charge. The $249 a month Jeep Cherokee lease. A great deal to get away with when you really want to get away from it all. Hurry in for great deals today.
The Internet.
Imagine national internet, local service.
A professional Internet consultant right next door.
Imagine a person you can lean on when you have questions.
Internet Business Solutions.
Imagine the possibilities.
Stereo, national Internet, local service.
Those fans, I want to remind you that the Camden Club's Sunday brunch is perfect for family functions, special occasions, and pregame football parties. Now, the brunch offers a fine selection of entrees and beverages, $17.95 for adults, $9.95 for kids. Brunch will be served from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. every Sunday during the off-season. For reservations, call the number you see on your screen, extension 144. Well, final night of baseball at the Yard here in 1998 as Graham Lloyd serves up that first pitch to Surhoff, driven to deep right center. Williams track, wall, and see you later. B.J. Surhoff has just launched the two-run shot off Graham Lloyd here in the bottom of the eighth. B.J. drilled it a bunch, and it got out of here in deep right center, number 18 on the year for Surhoff. RBI, number 86 and 87 for 3 Yankees.
28 games between home runs. Graham Lloyd having a fantastic year. The whole league only hitting 190. Couple of home runs. That's number 3. B.J.'s 18th of the year.
The stay is very short for Graham Lloyd. Through the one pitch, B.J. Surhoff took him on a ride out of the yard. Tell you about Ramiro Mendoza, 4-3 Yanks.
Hey everybody, time for a Chi-Chi's workout. But today, we're not using Chi-Chi's salsa. We're using new Chi-Chi's salsa. It's a more thick, more zesty, fresh tasting Chi-Chi's. Ready? And pull up and down. Pull up and down. Don't forget to breathe. See how it sticks to the chip? Now add the drink. Don't just sit there. Eat something. New Chi-Chi's. The new taste really works those abs.
Big cities face many large challenges. But when cities and businesses pitch in, needs become goals. And goals become realities. That's the premise behind the Orioles Saturn Field of Dreams. This joint effort between your Baltimore area Saturn retailers and the Orioles has resulted in the completion of 3 pro-style Little League fields, 2 in Baltimore City and 1 in Anne Arundel County, with 3 more scheduled to be built next year. It's the Orioles and Saturn's way of saying thank you.
Yeah, she's been checking me every day, hoping the medicines get here. She's about to run out. Unfortunately, her employer directs her to order her prescriptions by mail. Sure, they're finally here, but in what condition? The FDA found that the inside of a mailbox like me can hit 136 degrees. Freezing cold and moisture may be just as bad. And what about new prescriptions? Can she take them safely with her other ones? Don't ask me. I'm just a mailbox. Count on me for your mail. For your prescriptions, count on your neighborhood community pharmacist.
Dr. Jekyll, stop this experiment. I will unlock the secret to the hidden potential within us all. No, Doctor, please. Huh?
Oh. Wow, got any more? Hey,
You are what you drink.
Let's plug in a Circuit City video replay. Graham Lloyd throws one pitch, and B.J. Surhoff rocks him. His 18th of the year, his 2-run missile. Birds have come to within one at 4-3 here in the bottom of the 8th, and now it's Ramiro Mendoza. So this is a sixth pitcher that Joe Torre has used following El Duque, Orlando Hernandez, who still is on line to pick up a win if the Yankees can hang on to what now is a one-run advantage.
And Harold Baines will come in to hit for Lenny Webster. Rich Becker comes on deck to hit for Mike Bordick. If they get that far with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 8th. Saw Mendoza, sinker baller, a little bit of a slider. Done a good job. 9 wins for the Yankees.
In his 25th relief appearance here on Friday night. And that Yankee win. This is tapped right to the side of the plate, and Greg Koss says foul ball.
When you look at the Yankees' 1-loss record. What?
106 and 47.
You think it would have been a smooth ride, but then you go down the list of their pitchers. Holmes was on the disabled list with a bulging disc. So was Nelson. Lloyd, shoulder problems on the DL. Rivera early in the year, groin pull. Mendoza, DL because of shoulder problems. And yet they still win 106 games.
Harold Baines pops it up. Into short left. Derek Jeter calling everybody off. He's got it. 8th inning over. B.J. Surhoff puts a charge into the Yankees. And their bullpen with his 2-run blast. Let's go to the 9th. 4-3 New York.
Connecting with the wrong internet provider can leave even the most experienced net user frustrated and abandoned. Now there's a better way. BellAtlantic.net, with access to Big Yellow, Your Yellow pages on the web, and a helpful staff to guide you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Bell Atlantic can open doors to the internet you never knew existed. Wild things are happening. Bell Atlantic. We'll see you there.
Hiya, son.
Hi, Dad.
I'm off to work now.
Okay, Dad.
With complete 24-hour service, Geico Auto Insurance starts working on your claim immediately.
Be careful with her.
We'll get you back in your car quickly, so you won't have to rely on alternate transportation. Geico Direct. A 15-minute call could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
We now take you live via sparring camp as heavyweight champion Lennox Lewis prepares for his upcoming title defense. Lennox, how you doing?
I feel good.
So what's the pre-fight strategy?
My speed is the key.
You have to like your chances.
If I'm on my game, I'm unstoppable.
Word is that you're ducking Holyfield.
Say what? Any more questions?
Sports fans, for a wonderful selection of official Orioles merchandise, make sure you visit one of the 3 official Orioles team store locations: Oriole Park at Camden Yards, on Farragut Square in Washington, D.C., and in the Galleria in York, Pennsylvania. It's time for the 9th inning, and will this be the final frame of baseball here at home in 1998? Birds down by a run to the New York Yankees. Chris Hoyles will take over behind the plate, and Jimmy Key will come out of the bullpen to face his former ball club before he signed with the O's, the New York Yankees. Key, who's been so good in relief appearances for the Birds.
Oh, he's been so good over the course of his career, and rotator cuff pain all year long hasn't been able to allow him to pitch as much as he'd like. 186 lifetime wins. Very important part of the
Chili Davis will go the other way with a line drive base hit to right. First pitch he sees from Jimmy Key. So Chili Davis has his second base hit tonight. He's 2 for 5. Yankees have out hit the Orioles 15-6, Jim, and yet we're sitting on a 1-run game. The beauty of the game of baseball.
Well, double plays, the inability to hit with runners in scoring positions. We see Homer Bush come in to pinch run.
Chili Davis with 2 of those I saw David Wells down there in the Yankee dugout. David got another stern talking to from Joe Torre after he was a bit miffed at a fly ball falling between Jeter and Leday and Curtis the other evening.
I talked to him today. He said, I said, you seem a little upset. He said, you noticed that? I said, well, you were standing between home plate and the pitcher's mound, kind of looking out at left center where the ball dropped. Cost me 3 earnings, he said. Talking about earned runs. He said, really, he had any chance of winning the Cy Young Award, it had to be earned run average, and that's, I think that, of course, he's had such a fabulous year and
tremendous. He'll get votes. He'll get recognition.
Oh yeah.
18-4 with a perfect game and a 3.3 ERA. That'll do it. Posada with a drive to deep center. Brady Anderson is turned on the track with room to reach up and haul it in. Bush is going to tag. He'll easily advance to second base. Oh, Posada gave it a jolt, but to the deepest part of the yard as Anderson flagged it down. It's 1 down here in the Yankee ninth. And Ricky Leday is not going to hit. And Joe Torre is going to send up the grand slammer from Friday night. Shane Spencer.
I was talking about Key, an integral part of the Yankees World Championship.
Oh yeah.
In 1996. Sometimes very difficult for Jimmy to get loose, even though, as you mentioned, he's done a good job out of the bullpen. But both pitches in this inning have been up. The single to right to Davis and the high curveball to Posada.
Well, Jim, we know as good as Jimmy Key is, he makes his living in and out. Adding, subtracting. Spencer with a bomb to deep center. Anderson track. Wall. That ball is off the top of the wall and in play. Bush will round third. Bordick's throw to the plate, not in time. Oh, Shane Spencer just crushed it a little bit further than Jorge Posada and got on top of that wall for the long 2-base hit to center. 5-3 Yankees.
Well, he had 30 home runs last year at AAA. Year before in AA and 3 more. He had 32 home runs. The grand slam. Up and out over the plate. I mean, this guy's got legs that make Ivan Rodriguez's leg look like they're skinny. And that ball right on the top of the wall. Brady staying with it. Another one of the good young players the Yankees have.
You saw the numbers before Spencer attacked that first pitch of Jimmy Key. It's his 12th run driven in now. And limited spot duty with the Yankees. 4 home runs. He just missed going out of here for the second time in this series. Where's Chad Curtis? Key misses. 1-1 on Curtis, who is without a base hit tonight. So Chad Curtis is the only Yankee regular who has not had a base hit. He did walk and score a run back in the second inning. After the Orioles cut the Yankee lead to 1, right away they add 1 back on. Curtis chased a high fastball from Key. 1-2 now on the Yankee left fielder Chad Curtis. He started tonight in right field. The Yankees have gone tonight without Paul O'Neill and Tino Martinez, 2 of their big artillery. Cal Ripken chose this night to sit down. Jimmy Key wanted it, but it missed the outside corner. He also with a 2-2 pitch. Called strike 3. Beat Curtis with a fastball. Chad Curtis was locked up, frozen.
Establish a way. Sometimes get him out in. And Jimmy Key over the course of his career, remember 186 lifetime wins. He could do them with the best of them. He gets you looking outside for the sinker, the changeup, and then just throws that cutter right on. I mean, that's a perfect pitch. And it froze Chad Curtis.
There's Mike Lowell. And this young third baseman has had quite a night as he looks at a key breaking ball for a called strike. Lowell is 3 for 4 on the night. 500 on the year at 4 for 8. 16 hit Yankee attack, yet it's only produced 5 runs. 15 hits on Friday night, Jim. 15 runs. Go figure. No, you said it. The Yankees have guys standing all over the bases in the opening 3-4 innings. No clutch base hits. He ahead of Lowell, 0-2. Ground ball towards short. Mike Bordick will pick it for Mike Lowell. We're going to go to the bottom of the ninth. Orioles need 2 if they want to keep playing baseball a little bit longer here at the yard. 5-3 Yankees.
Get ready for something that will change the way you use your wireless phone into the next millennium. Digital choice single rate from Bell Atlantic Mobile. It's revolutionary. It's here. A wireless plan with no roaming or long distance charges. Digital choice single rate from Bell Atlantic Mobile. There's nothing better in the world.
Tonight, the world is full of light, with suns and moons all over the place. Tonight, tonight. Let's just be friends. Tonight, there's only you tonight.
Catch all the football action with Circuit City and DirecTV. When you buy a digital satellite system and subscribe to 98 NFL Sunday Ticket and DirecTV Total Choice Platinum programming, you'll get an exclusive Circuit City $100 mail-in rebate. You'll also score 4 free months of Total Choice Platinum and 3 free programming certificates, a $300 value. Only DirecTV delivers NFL Sunday Ticket, and for just $159, you'll enjoy up to 13 games every Sunday. Now at Circuit City.
Home Team Sports coverage of Orioles baseball has been brought to you by Southwest Airlines. With fares so low, you have the freedom to do things you never thought possible. Also by Bell Atlantic Mobile. Cell phones only as good as the network it's on. By Geico Direct, a sensible alternative. By Pepsi, the official soft drink of Major League Baseball. By Safeway Food and Drug. Nobody does it better. And by Bell Atlantic Corporate. While things are happening, Bell Atlantic will see you there. We go to the bottom of the ninth. Is this the final half inning of baseball here at the yard? Orioles need 2 to tie, 3 to win it. Shane Spencer taking over in right field after his RBI double, and one of the top save masters in all of Major League Baseball is on the hill for the Yankees, Mariano Rivera.
35 out of 40 saves in the saves department. We saw him on Friday night. Not a whole lot to it. Doesn't throw a breaking ball, just throws 95 to 97 miles per hour. He's come up with a cut fastball that just starts and comes into the lefties away from the right-handers. And look at the numbers. Not as many strikeouts as last year, but still getting the job done.
Now the Birds trying to avoid a setback in the final home game in 1998. We said O's had lost 4 in a row, 3 of them 1-run decisions until beating the Yankees yesterday. And there's Mike Bordick to lead it off. Bordick, Robbie Alomar, and Brady Anderson.
Mike Bordick with very good numbers against Mariano. 3 for 8 lifetime. Robbie Alomar 3 for 4. He's waiting on deck, and then the second best numbers on the Orioles are Cal Ripken.
Bordick fly ball center field. Back up Bernie Williams, couple of steps, 1 down in the Oriole ninth. 1 pitch and 1 out from Mariano Rivera.
Here it is. Hit it. I think my fastball will get the job done. Not a lot of subject dudes. You just Little movement. Real good velocity.
As Robbie Alomar steps in again, we want to remind you one more time, don't move now. When this game is over, we'll stay right here for the Cal Ripken press conference as he answers all the questions, gives us some insight as to why he decided to have tonight be the night that he sits down and puts an end to his streak of consecutive games played. Called strike on Roberto Alomar. That'll be live right here on HTS, and also you can see it on Fox Sports News. In the original lineup, but then removed himself before the game. 2-1 on Alomar.
The difficulty of hitting off Mariano Rivera is that he is so smooth. He's what they call sneaky. The ball just jumps out of his hand. Very rarely ever straight.
Alomar with a line drive down the line and left. It's down for a base hit. Extra bases for Roberto Alomar. 2 base hits to the corner and left. Robbie has a 3-for-4 night going on, and he's been aboard 4 times against Yankee pitching.
Swinging the bat good, just kind of slices it down the line for 2.
The Orioles now, with Alomar's 2-base hit, get the tying run to the plate in the person of Brady Anderson. Brady without a base hit tonight, 0-for-4. As he faces Mariano Rivera. Anderson trying to turn on a Rivera fastball and tie this thing up with 1 swing.
And he's going to have to get a little bit quicker because that fastball that was 94 just went to 96. And Rivera does it with such little effort. And that's why he's so sneaky. Very relaxed.
Anderson got jammed, popped up into short right center. Knobloch says he'll handle it for out number 2. There's that cut fastball you talked about, Jim.
Well, if we have a chance to look at it, it starts in the middle of the plate, and the cutter has no spin. So you think it may tail away from you, and it just keeps coming with no spin at your hand. Watch this ball veer in. He thinks it's going to be in the middle of the plate. It just keeps coming at you. Instead of hitting on the good part of the bat, you hit it up the trademark a little bit and pop it up.
Well, the Orioles down to their final out now here in the bottom of the 9th. Eric Davis. Eric came on to pinch hit for Willie Green and drew a walk from Mike Stanton in the 7th. Davis, too, trying to, with 1 big swing, tie things up here in the bottom of the 9th. Mariano Rivera has allowed just 3 home runs in his 58-plus innings of work. And he's ahead of Davis at 0-2. 97 on that fastball. So, Jim, as soon as somebody gets aboard, he tones it up a little bit.
And how do you do that? You relax, rock back a little bit better, then get your arm out in front.
Everybody up here at the yard. Rivera's 0-2. Ground ball over the head of Rivera. Base hit center field. Alomar to the plate. Birds not done yet. 5-4 Yankees on the 0-2 base hit up the middle. Eric Davis.
Now there's only one Oriole that has a home run off of Mariano Rivera, and he's coming to the plate right now. We mentioned it early, a couple of base hits up the middle yesterday for Eric Davis. Tonight another one.
85th RBI of the year in this bouncing ball base hit up the middle. And scored Roberto Alomar. Well, the O's put 1 on the board against Mariano Rivera. That's Eugene Kinsale doing the pinch running. Rafael Palmeiro to face Rivera. Ground ball to first. This should do it. Soho to the bag. The Orioles' home season in 1998 has come to an end, and Cal Ripken's consecutive games played streak also over by Ripken's choice here on this Sunday night, September 20th, 1998. Mariano Rivera got it closed down. Orioles got a run in the ninth, but fall short. Yankees win it 5-4. We'll be right back to the yard.
Ready to play. HTS, a service of CBS Cable.